Muhammad Ali is not, look, I'm tired of white men using Muhammad Ali like Martin Luther King. I'm tired of white men sitting up here using Muhammad Ali like they use Martin Luther King. Oh, well, you know, Muhammad Ali. Every white racist can use Muhammad Ali's name. I love Muhammad Ali. I'm tired. Every white racist is using the Muhammad Ali thing. Let's go and get it up and chop it up. Y'all, come on, let's go and chop it up. Because I just seen some disgusting shit on TV, and I'm going to preach on it. What's up? $1LVZ, the Cash App is back up. Y'all watch out with this Cash App shit. I did some work the other day for somebody, and they were supposed to send me $420 on Cash App, and I never got the shit. And it wasn't her. She showed me the receipt that she sent the money. And Cash App don't really got no way of giving you your money back. Y'all be careful with this Cash App shit. That shit ain't cool. I'm just out $420, and I ain't been working, so I need that shit. Anyway. Support don't answer the phone. Cash App is a scam, like when it comes to shit like that. Support doesn't answer the phone. Yeah, this shit is a scam. That's it. I have to say that the shit makes it very easy for scams because I am hurting off that shit. That shit blew me. Yeah, support. That number does not work. You got to just keep emailing people. And then they never email you a real answer. Y'all be careful with that shit. Stop fucking with that shit like that. Oh, you talked about it your last live, Johnny Ali? I didn't see it. You talked about it on your last live? Because if you talked about it on my last live, I didn't see that either because this is my shit. When we talk about some shit, you was talking about some shit I ain't know about. And again, like I say, I can't talk about shit I don't know about. I ain't gonna just start talking. But see, that's what I think too. Yeah, he said it last week or whatever. But nobody cares because he's a soccer player. Nobody cares because he's a soccer player. Now, let me tell you, for those who don't know, this Zlatan, even he's a bitch. Zlatan, even he's a bitch. That's his name. Even he's a bitch. Zlatan, even he's a bitch. Said that Lebron should stop talking about politics. You know? And then he said, but his favorite athlete was Muhammad Ali. But he said LeBron shouldn't speak up. Look, I'm telling y'all now that Muhammad Ali is now being used. Muhammad Ali is like Martin Luther King. They use his name to try to invoke some type of symbolism and relationship with black people. So they use that name. That's the easiest name to use. They kind of Martin Luther King-ized Muhammad Ali, especially. That was the worst part about Parkinson's, with Muhammad Ali. He couldn't speak no more. So by him not being able to speak, they could act like he didn't still think the same shit he was thinking before he was able to not talk. Of course, we know shit at the funeral, Minister Farrakhan said when Bill Clinton gave him the award, he said, still a nigga. He said, still a nigga. He told me, he said, I'm still a nigga. And he knew it. So I believe that they want to whiten Muhammad Ali up. And they try to use that. But this Zlatan guy, who is Arabic or whatever, was mad that in Sweden they were treating him different because he wasn't blonde-haired and blue-eyed white boy. And he spoke out against it, and he thought it was a problem. Now here in America, he tells black men that they shouldn't talk about politics. They should mind their business. And I wouldn't have a problem with that if I didn't see what I saw this morning. Max Kellerman and Skip Bayless. There's very few times I agree with Stephen A. Smith. LeBron James did go too soft. And I agree with Kendrick Perkins. I hate it what LeBron James said. You need to start going harder on these white supremacists. Stop letting these motherfuckers just disrespect you that don't even know you. Right, Bert. So stop letting motherfuckers disrespect you that don't know you. Stop letting people disrespect you that know you. Gotta get this motherfucking roll up right. So Max Kellerman was sitting telling Kendrick Perkins and Stephen A. Smith how he loved LeBron's response. And you can't get emotional and you can't have a knee-jerk reaction because you won't have the conversation. White folk love whiteness. Okay? That was all. Y'all niggas that invited Max Kellerman to the cookout, y'all motherfuckers crazy. Max Kellerman protects whiteness just like every other white man. He sat up there and said, well, Stephen A., I mean, you got to listen to what he said. He said, stay out of politics, not social issues. I mean, it was wrong, but LeBron shouldn't have went at him like that. And he was incensed, and he was insistent that he was right. At the end of the thing, Molly Quirm had to actually butt in and say, Max, we not black. So maybe he was like, I know, but she said, Max, you will never know what it feels like to be black. And Max said that sheepdog look on his face. She had to stop him. So I give props to Molly Quirm. Molly Quirm Rose had to step in and go, you goddamn fool. I'm married to a black man, and I have no idea. Oh, no, I'm going to cut it on when it comes on because I want y'all to hear this. I want y'all to hear this bullshit. And then I want y'all to hear Skip Bayless say that LeBron shouldn't have even said anything to him. LeBron James, Skip Bayless said not only did he didn't like LeBron response, he shouldn't have addressed him. He should have just stayed above the frame. Why come black people, when we get called the carpet and people, what's up, Steve? Why come when black people get challenged and people say shit derogatory and offensive to us, it's okay to insult us? We supposed to always take the high road. White guys never always take the high road. Right. Why do we always got... Look, I'm going to tell you something I used to always hate when I was a young. Telling me be a bigger man. No, I'm not going to be a bigger man. I'm going to be as little and insignificant and petty and tit for tat as my enemy. Thank you, Stevie. Fuck the high road. I'm scared of heights. Motherfucker ever tell you take the high road, that's your comeback. Oh, motherfucker, I'm scared of heights. Come on, VZ, don't answer him. I got 11 niggas in here that believe LeBron should have took the high road. $225 girl, what's up, baby? Nah, you know what the high road mean? The high road mean you let another motherfucker run off half cock doing whatever they want to do, and you just stay there. You stay there and take it. Right, Steve. Yeah, nah. I watched it once. I heard him say, because I woke up late. So when I wake up and it was on, I say, what? They said a soccer star called out LeBron James. And I said, a soccer star? Let me look at this. Let me see. Because once they said stalker, you already saw, yeah, that big steroid ass. Even he's a bitch. Last name, even he's a bitch. Sultan, even he's a bitch. Now, Max Kellerman went out of his way to defend this guy, y'all. I mean, he seriously did, and it was the most disgusting shit I heard. Yeah, Max said up there say, look, I love his response. Stephen A. Smith even said LeBron should have went hard at him. Look, I'm sorry, you can't not be from this country and come out here with that bullshit. Raheem, what does it do? Yeah, I'm about to say, you know, Zlatan, he stood up the casino. Yeah, somebody said, what is this dumb shit Draymond Green quit. Draymond Green got hurt. That's quitting now. You niggas are disgusting. Nigga, Masai, I'm sorry, nigga, but niggas that think Casino funny, I look at you niggas funny. Any nigga that watches a coon, I don't trust you niggas. I'm telling the truth. I've never been so bored that I watched a sellout. I've never been that bored. I don't understand how you niggas be watching coons. Jokes are funny, Kelvin. That nigga ain't funny to me. Jokes are funny and amusing, and I like to hear them. Now explain to me how Casino is like a joke. I'm serious as a heart attack. I'm serious as HIV. I seriously look at you niggas funny who sit there and got enough time to listen to coons. You niggas is low-key saw shooting. You niggas be low-key soft showing to be going over to his channel. I know. Y'all niggas be low-key soft showing. I'm saying, somebody explain to me where he's useful. You said LBJ hate. Like something else he do is good. Yeah, Bill Maher was protecting his whiteness this weekend. You saw Bill Maher. The whiteness protection program is out here today. Right. I'm not never listening to nobody let a white boy call them nigga and they don't say nothing. You say this hate for LBJ be funny, but you don't watch him. Oh, I feel you. It's a lot of y'all that do. A lot of y'all that do go there. Can you believe what Casino said? I'm like, I don't even know what he said. I ain't on his channel. Right. Bill Maher been getting shredded. Bill Maher had been getting shredded recently because he finally came out the closet with his racism. We're going to talk about Bill Maher, but I'm going to let y'all hear. We're going to talk about Big Nose Bill because Professor Black Truth broke it down. I'm smoking that Warriors back. We blew their ass out. And Ticket got sand in his panties because we won. Wipe the sand out your panties, Ticket. Yeah, this nigga sitting up here with racist ass Megyn Kelly talk about he know Coleman Cruz. Talk about Coleman Cruz is her friend. Coleman Cruz don't speak for no black people. Why I don't be lives so people can talk about topics with one another. Motherfucker, I am not First of all, I don't know what you said because that was an incoherent sentence. Second of all, motherfucker, I am not motherfucker CMPM. I'm not AT&T. I'm not Bell Mid Atlantic. I'm not Bell. I'm not Bell Mid Atlantic. It's like the Brady Bunch. I don't do this shit so y'all can talk to each other. And if you want to talk to each other, give each other our phone number. Fuck out of here. Hey, I got a better question. Why don't you do that? That's your idea. That's not mine. Fuck, I look like Zoom? No. I think the panel be like how Lisa should have it. It should be more than 4 or 5 people. Anything more than 4 or 5 people is now just a school bus. Anything more than 4 or 5 people becomes school bus chatter. Now everybody fighting to talk over each other. Everybody fighting to talk over each other. No, I'm not doing that. Yeah, send it to me. You can send it to me. You can send it to me. Mm-hmm. You can send it to me. Cause I want people to
All right, we on time? Yeah, right.
I like that Shannon Sharpe called out Mike Tomlin coon ass. I've been telling y'all for years that Mike Tomlin is a coon. I've been telling y'all for years Mike Tomlin is a bootlicking coon. I've been telling y'all that for years. That Mike Tomlin is a bootlicker. He is. And I like that Shannon Sharpe called him out. That nigga don't hire no black people.
That nigga don't hire no black people.
Right. Right. Think about it. The nigga coon for Mason the racist Rudolph. Think about it. He went hard for Mason the racist Rudolph. He didn't go hard on that Villanueva guy for not kneeling. He didn't go hard on Stephon Tuitt for talking that shit. Mike Tomlin is a good one. Mike Tomlin is a... I don't have the answers. I wish I could give you a good answer. Why have you never hired a black... Look, why do Bruce Arians, an old white man, got a Byron Leftwich, the offense, Todd Bowles, the defense, a black man, the special teams, and 2 women? An old white dude in a Kango. An old white man in a Kango looked like he owned a country club. He got more brothers on the sideline than any coach we'd have never seen. Got more brothers on the sideline than any coach we ever seen. An old white man in a Kango. He had more black coaches than Marvin Lewis. He had more black coaches than Hugh Jackson. He had more black coaches than Art Shell. He had more black coaches than all of them. And special teams, Devon. Jen's Roji. I thought you was nigga. You told me you gonna send me the link. You just gave me a channel and shit. And then it's up to me to find all the videos. Okay. I might well just wait it. Yeah, Lovey Smith and shit. First of all, any black man that still let them call themselves Lovey is a coon. All right, I found it. I want y'all to hear. I want y'all to listen. Listen here.
On Thursday, AC Milan star Zlatan Ibrovimivich criticized LeBron and other star athletes, saying it was a mistake.
Look at this supremacist.
It doesn't look
Look at this
like
supremacist.
athletes or other famous people.
Of all the supremacists, he's the
LeBron
whitest.
James responding to those comments.
That's LeBron all nice.
Same guy who said when he was back in Sweden, talking about the same things, because his last name wasn't a certain last name, that he felt like it was some racism going on when he was out on the pitch. I speak from a very educated mind. So I'm kind of the wrong guy to actually go at, because I do my homework. You know, I would never shut up about things that's...
Tony Dungy ain't have a black staff neither.
I preach about my people, and I preach about, equality, social injustice, racism, systematic voting, voter suppression, things that go on in our community.
All right, Big Perk joining us now for this discussion. Kendrick, great to have you. Stephen A., I'm going to start with you. Do you like, love, or hate LeBron's rebuttal to Zlatan?
I like it. I don't love it. And the reason why I don't love it is that I thought LeBron should have went at him harder. I love the fact that LeBron pointed out his hypocrisy. How this was the same guy who did speak about his name and racist connotations that came along with it, and how he was being prejudiced against in the past. But yet when it came to LeBron James and others, he's speaking about how, folks need to speak to sports. I think that what he was saying, he should have been more specific. He was basically trying to say the black athlete should stick to sports. That's how I took it. And essentially, what are you meaning by that? Because you have a lot of people in this world who look at black men and believe, instead of showing them the deference and respect that they've earned and they deserve, and giving them major props for that, as opposed to doing that, they feel like these athletes should be appreciative and should never feel entitled because of what they've earned. And so you do have a lot of folks out in this world that look at black men who are particularly influential and incredibly powerful, and they feel they should stay in a certain place. They should be more appreciative as opposed to feeling deserving and things of that nature. And I think this shows that, the kind of prejudice that we're accustomed to experiencing as black men, it doesn't just exist in America. I've had the fortune of, particularly with Stephen A.'s world, of interviewing several people on my show from different other parts of this world, and they talk about how the black experience itself is the black experience. It ain't just in America. It's the world over. And so to me, this is the latest example of that. And I loved how LeBron came back and responded, but I also thought that LeBron was very classy and far too nice compared to what he could have been by an individual that was basically not only telling him to just shut up and play basketball, but he was also an individual that was telling him, you shouldn't be the one doing it, but evidently I could, because when I had an issue, I certainly brought it up, and it didn't have anything to do with the field of play. So it's okay for me to speak on things, but you should know your place. That's how I took it. I think that's how LeBron James took it. And LeBron handled it with the deference,
y'all make that
the
go
class,
viral on Twitter.
the decorum that obviously nobody can argue
Kkkellerman.
with. I'm just saying, if it were me, I'd have been a hell of a lot harsher.
I love LeBron James's response. You like it, Stephen A., because you think he could have gone harder at Zlatan? I love LeBron's response precisely because he didn't. Because look, Zlatan's entitled to his opinion, even if we think it's wrong-headed. Now, Stephen A., if you read into it and say, what are you really saying? I get it. But actually, LeBron's measured response Just stating the facts, I think, was the most effective possible response. And look what he said. It's on the bottom of the screen. There's no way I would ever just stick to sports. The operative word is because I understand this platform and how powerful my voice is. In other words, anything to do with the field of play, so it's okay for me to speak on things, but you should know your place. That's how I took it. I think that's how LeBron James took it, and LeBron handled it with the deference, the class, the decorum that obviously nobody can argue with. I'm just saying, if it were me, I'd have been a hell of a lot harsher. I love LeBron James's response. You like it, Stephen A., because you think he could have gone harder at Zlatan? I love LeBron's response, precisely because he didn't. Because I look, Zlatan's entitled to his opinion, even if we think it's wrong-headed. Now, Stephen A., if you read into it and say, what are you really saying? I get it. But actually, LeBron's measured response.
So you heard him say, Stephen A., I mean, even if you really, really read into it, he said, if you really, really read into it, question, ain't that what every white person who tried, this is supposed to be a liberal Max Kellerman, Jewish Max Kellerman, ain't that what, now, I wonder what Max Kellerman would have said if he said guys like, if he had said guys like, he said certain Jewish athletes should stay out of politics. I wonder what Max would say if he said certain Jewish athletes should steer clear from staying in not social issues, politics. I wonder if Max would think it was, I wonder if Max would read into it.
Just stating the facts, I think, was the most effective possible response. And look what he said. It's on the bottom of the screen. There's no way I would ever just stick to sports. The operative word is because I understand this platform and how powerful my voice is. In other words, if you want to talk about a moral responsibility, if you are a member of an oppressed group historically, then LeBron feels it. That's great. That's great that he responded the way he did. He is not making ad hominem attacks at Zlatan, although he points out, hey, look, you were saying kind of similar.
So now, if LeBron responds sternly, that's a ad hominem attack. Did y'all catch that? I want you to catch. We're gonna break what he said that because it pissed me off.
LeBron feels it. That's great. That's great that he responded the way he did. He is not making ad hominem attacks at Zlatan, although he points out, hey, look, you were saying kind of similar stuff where you're from, right? Like you were saying, hey, my last name, whatever else, led to behavior toward me that I didn't like. And what's curious, by the way, LeBron could have gone on. I've heard interviews where, one interview in particular, where Zlatan was asked about Muhammad Ali. And immediately, he's like playing word association. Immediately, he says, the best, the greatest, my idol. And Zlatan is, loud and he celebrates himself the way Ali did. But if Ali's your idol, it's not just because he bragged a lot. It's because Ali stood up for what he believed in and stood.
Smash the like, y'all. So Max Kellerman, this is why I call this the whiteness protection. Smash the like, or you are Max Kellerman yourself. I want y'all to, thank you, Leonard. Did you notice that, Leonard? What Max Kellerman just did was give him He got a black friend excuse. He likes a black guy. Max Kellerman just did the equivalent of he has a black. That's what he likes Muhammad Ali sounds like to black people. When you say that a racist white man says he likes Muhammad Ali, Martin Luther King, that's like saying he got a black friend.
For his people and oppression and oppressed groups everywhere, really, by the end of his career. So it is curious that Zlatan has that point of view about Muhammad Ali, had that point of view about himself in Europe, but then has this point of view about LeBron. And LeBron's response to me...
Why was it curious? Wasn't curious to us. I've never been a fan of Max Kellerman either. He is small hat devil who always tried to leech and funnel off of black culture. He was one of them yo Vanilla Ice white boys back in the day. Thought he could box and got his ass whooped.
He is pitch perfect. I don't think it could be any better. No ad hominem attack. Points out a hypocrisy. Says, hey, wait a minute. Why is that okay for you, but not okay for me? And most importantly, reinforces the idea that he feels a responsibility to do it. Not just the whether, well, I can do it, or I should just stay in my lane. No. LeBron saying, I have a responsibility given my platform. Pitch perfect, I have to say, as usual by LeBron. Versus the idea that...
Of course, a white man would think that that was pitch perfect. He didn't go into... Well, this just shows how racism permeates all throughout the world and how people of color should not be included with black people. So all my Latino friends that's here right now, y'all historically have always undermined us, and we fought for y'all to be here. We bled and died for y'all to be here, so y'all could have a George Zimmerman and a Geronimo Yanez. Where's the black version of that doing that to any of your people? Isn't one. This goes to the Asians crying about Asian racism now. Because y'all out talking right now and ain't nobody telling y'all stick to politics. A black man robbed an Asian and that turned to racism. Now, to me, a robbery is about the economy and the sad situation of such. Because if a motherfucker got money, he ain't robbing. Now they making the Jeremy Lin story boogie. Cause that's what cause that's really the problem right now. Right. Hark, my Confederation brethren, throw up your flags. This is why I say LeBron went soft. This goes into that people of color argument. Because in Sweden, he was a nigger. You see? Definitely MMA. You see? Over there, he was a nigger. And it's not about racism. It's about not treating me like a nigga. This is what it's all about. You know what every race has against us? They all got an unspoken word. Don't treat me like a nigga. I'm not a nigga. I swear. That's why them Africans and them fucking no, I'm not but you are to them. Don't treat me like a Negro. And the minute he felt treated like a Negro, he spoke out and spoke up quick. How ironic that the people he got it from is not allowed to do it in his eyes. Now, if it ain't about race, what is it about? You know what? It's because Zlatan is just like a mass population of white folks here who believe that nigga, I can't be doing that right now, Leonard, if I'm doing this right here, bro. Zlatan, because I ain't even finished my video. Zlatan, you did, is trying to say, look, y'all niggas got enough money. Look, you LeBron, you got plenty of money. That's what Zlatan trying to say. Because you ain't even seen half of the shit yet, Leonard. So, yeah, it ain't time for it yet.
He feels a responsibility to do it. Not just that
you ain't see the good part yet.
Do it, or
Leonard, you ain't
stay
see
in
the
my
good part.
lane. No.
Watch the good part,
I have
Leonard.
a responsibility
Leonard,
given my
watch the good part.
Pitch perfect.
My nigga, right there. Look at my big nigga.
No, Max, I have to disagree, and that's nonsense. Ain't nothing was pitch perfect about that response. And matter of fact, I hated the response that LeBron James gave, and here's why. He should have addressed Zlatan or whatever his name is, like the numbers on the house, and should have made them smell his cologne in that response. And by me saying that, because it's not about politics. It's not that LeBron James speaks out about politics. He's speaking out about humanity. All right, this is what we're talking about, humanity. What's going on in the black community these days? That's what LeBron James stands for. Growing up in Akron, Ohio, coming up really without a father figure in his life, knowing why the purpose why he opened up a I Promise school and wanted to provide such great people to help these kids in these black communities, so they could get knowledge, so they could get up out of those communities and be something in life. Because we go through so much that it get overlooked. Okay, and what I'm not about to sit up here and stand for is no athlete or no other person, especially from another country, tell one of our powerful, iconic figures how to speak up and how to be a black man in America and be a leader in America. I'm not about to tolerate it. And LeBron should have addressed him like the numbers on the house, like I said before, because look, we deal with so much oppression for over 400 plus years. You talk about things to nature where father figures were incarcerated for whatever reason and getting football numbers where they're not there in their children's lives nowadays, and now they need powerful, iconic figures like LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Dwayne Wade, Maya Moore, all these beautiful athletes that have been standing on the front line to make sure that these kids get the best opportunity that others are getting around the world. So I don't want to hear that, man. At the end of the day, to me, I thought it was nonsense for him to lash out at LeBron. I thought he was clout chasing, and LeBron took it too lightly on him.
I agree with you. I think LeBron took it too lightly on it. But Max, to get back to what you're saying, Zlatan and how he tried to approach the matter. Listen, he was wrong off the bat.
I want y'all to notice what Stephen A. did. Stephen A. gonna soft shoe his way to getting on Max, y'all. Watch this. Remember, Stephen A. said that he liked what he said. I ain't love it. I think he could have went harder. Watch what he do though. Y'all saw how that shit worked out, FYI.
Powerful, iconic figures like LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Dwayne Wade, Maya Moore, all these beautiful athletes that have been standing on the front line to make sure that these kids get the best opportunity that others are getting around the world. So I don't want to hear that, man. At the end of the day, to me, I thought it was nonsense.
Watch what he
for
do
him to lash out at LeBron.
I noticed that too. I said, oh, so around a strong black man, you'll change.
I agree with you. I think LeBron took it too lightly on it. But Max, to get back to what you're saying, Zlatan and how he tried to approach the matter. Listen, he was wrong off the bat. Because nobody should, and anybody that has a voice, particularly a voice is intelligent and as even keel and as thoughtful as LeBron James, should speak out on what the hell he wants to speak out about, because he's not coming from a perspective of ignorance and being misinformed or ill-informed about anything. That's number one. But number two, and more importantly, where this elevates the conversation to another level, is that this guy, this soccer player, okay, he spoke out when he felt like speaking out in terms of what his name connotated and how he felt he was treated because of it. He spoke out. So to me, it really resonated because, so it's okay for you to speak when you want to. But this brother right here, who is one of the most accomplished athletes in American history and who's been an activist in some respects, and has been well known, and it's been well documented what LeBron is as a businessman, what his contributions have been to his community and beyond, what his contribution has been to America and beyond. Oh, excuse me. He's the one that you're going to sit up there and say, excuse me, him nor any of these athletes, they shouldn't be speaking out. They should just be quiet and play. When you didn't do it, it says to me, you were saying, listen, you're a black man. You should be appreciative of what you have. Shut the hell up and go on about your business and just play. That to me is how I took what he said. And I don't think a tepid response was called for in that regard. I think it needed to be more formal. I'm not complaining about LeBron. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's got to be themselves. Please don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, if it were me, I'd have went all up in that, brother. I would have been making international headlines today.
Pause. What? Hold on. Brothers. Whoa. Jesus. I mean, he deserves to be punished, but maybe not like that. Good Lord. Wow.
Response was called for in that regard. I think it needed to be more formal. I'm not complaining about LeBron. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's got to be themselves. Please don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, if it were me, I'd have went all up in that, brother. I would.
Jesus, it don't sound no better. Pause. Whoa! If it was him, you'd have went all up in that, brother. Lord. Can't you just yell at him? Where is Stephen A from? Wow, that's how you handle beef? My nigga. Hey, y'all might not want to get into it with Stephen A. Hey, can't you just cuss him out? No, ain't no different strokes basket on my same strokes for these folks over this motherfucker.
He's the one that you're going to sit up there and say, excuse me, him nor any of these athletes, they shouldn't be speaking out. They should just be quiet and play. When you didn't do it, it says to me, you were saying, listen, you're a black man. You should be appreciative of what you have. Shut the hell up and go on about your business and just play. That to me is how I took what he said. And I don't think a tepid response was called for in that regard. I think it needed to be more full. I'm not complaining about LeBron. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's got to be themselves. Please don't get me wrong. I'm just saying if it were me, I'd have went all up in that, brother. I would have been making international headlines today. I know for taking that position.
Look, I think you know me, and if I see a
Nah, I don't know you. He right. He said he would have been making. They'll get to you, JJ. Everybody know my email. They'll get to you. Somebody type it in there for you. Look, you would make international headlines if you ran all up in that, bro. I do agree. I do it. Now, right there, press 1 if you agree that if Stephen A. ran all up in that brother, he would have made international headlines. He said, I would have ran all up in that brother, and I would have been making international headlines. Is that matter? Speaking of which, just off topic, international headlines. Is that the haircut that Stephen A. asked for when he sits down? Yeah, let me get the international headlines. Is that what Stephen A. asked for when he goes to the barbershop? Oh, my word. Young. Fuck that shit. Nah, they wasn't that they wasn't afraid to be called homophobes. They were forced. They're in China. They were forced. It wasn't. That's not the truth. It wasn't that they wasn't afraid to be called homophobes. They were forced. They in China. What the fuck was they gonna say? That's China. That's not the truth. They were forced. And they just don't want to tell you that. What China do, JJ Frank? I don't got nothing against China. I don't got JJ Phantom. Where do you live at? Where do you live? Where you live, JJ? Where you live, JJ? Where you live, man? Yeah, Nike from China. Nigga, all the Nikes I buy. Thank you, China. Vietnam, too, though. Brooklyn. Exactly. It's Chinese white supremacists in Brooklyn. They not in China for a reason, because they can't get away with that shit over there. They get slapped up and jacked up. So what you need to understand, nephew, is this. Your problem ain't your problem ain't so much China. Your problem ain't China. Your problem are from white supremacists who let them come from there.
injustice, and we've done it on this show, I'll go at people. So I agree, there is a time for that. I think in this case, Zlatan is making a slightly different point than you think he's making. And while you may disagree with it,
look at Kendrick Perkins' face when he said that. I want y'all to watch his face change.
Response was called for in that regard. I think it needed to be more forward. I'm not complaining about LeBron. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's got to be themselves. Please don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, if it were me, I'd have went all up in that, brother. I would have been making international headlines today. I directed at that dude for taking that position. Look, I think you
Whoa. I mean, that whole, wow. That whole statement was gay. He said he'd have been all up in that brother making international headlines for him taking that position? What? Jesus! That's some shit you say to your girl later on today. Girl, this brother gonna run all up in you. Girl, I'm gonna make international headlines when you take that position. See? Y'all niggas don't steal my shit. Cash App. You niggas do not got. Y'all niggas don't steal my motherfucker shit. Cash App 1LVZ. Because a lot of you niggas gonna score off that gangster shit that I just said tonight. And you ain't think of it. However, you were smart enough to subscribe here. Because you know I'm gonna get you right. Spot of God, I'm a fool, but I'm a smart fool. You mean that in the most positive ways. It's up, bro. It's up because I seen the email say you sent it to me. I'm cussing Cash App out as we speak.
I agree, there is a time for that. I think in this case, Zlatan is making a slightly different point than you think he's making. And while you may disagree with it, if you react immediately and emotionally to it, you'll never have the conversation. And this is what he's saying. What he said specifically is that people should stay immediately and emotionally to it. You'll never have the conversation.
The emotional Negro.
He's the one that you're going to sit up there and say, oh, excuse me, neither him nor any of these athletes. Everybody's got to be themselves. Please don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, if it were me, I'd have went all up in that, brother. I would have been making international headlines today.
Keenan, this is what I'm going to tell your girl you said.
Look, I don't think you know me, and if I see injustice, and we've done it on this show, I'll go at people, so I agree, there is a time for that. I think in this case, Zlatan is making a slightly different point than you think he's making. And while you may disagree with it, if you react immediately and emotionally to it, you'll never have the conversation. And this is what he's saying. What he said specifically is that people should stay in their lane. In this case, he was talking about politics specifically. Now, there's a huge overlap between social justice issues and politics, obviously, but they're not.
So, if your little Negro mind, hold on, don't be the emotional Negro. If you're just the reactional, emotional, hold on now, Negro, don't burn down the buildings, Negro. If you just keep acting like, don't react emotional. Don't get emotional, Negro. You'll miss it. Your Negro mind doesn't understand. See, you missed it. He's talking about this, not that.
Exactly the same thing. And while I agree with both of you, I think all three of us agree that how can you really stay out of politics, particularly in this country? There's enormous overlap, especially in this last election year and what's gone on in this country over the last 4 years in particular. How do you stay out of politics and address these social issues? I don't know that Zlatan was talking about not touching social issues. He was talking about not touching politics. He is wrong-headed, I believe, for thinking, because in fact, in that same interview that I saw where he talked about Ali, he said he was asked about a certain political figure that we talked a lot about in the last 4 years, and he said what his comment was nothing. In other words, if you ask him about a social issue, maybe he'll comment. But if you ask him about a political figure or politics specifically, he won't. We all may say that's wrong-headed. Here's why. In fact, no, you're wrong about LeBron James. Here's why. And that's what LeBron did. LeBron essentially addressed the point. But if you immediately have the knee-jerk angry reaction and don't actually listen to what was said and respond, then we just have a lot of shouting. Then we can be righteously indignant because there's plenty to be indignant about. But in fact, he was actually saying, in a way, you're conflating social issues and politics. My response to him is, we mean conflating. Oftentimes, there's such an overlap, they're basically the same. And LeBron must discuss politics at times if he wants to address social issues.
Well, Max, politics has to come into play when we talk about this social justice, because the only way that we're going to have change is by getting certain people in office to make change, right? That's the only way we're going to stop having cops kneel on for 8 minutes. That's the only way we're going to stop having black folks being shot in the back by police officers, is by forming groups like More Than the Vote. So politics do come into play when it comes to a certain point of it. So, but my thing is this. You cannot, I don't care who you is, whether you think it's politics or it's social justice. If somebody is fighting for the right cause and somebody is being the voice for so many that can't speak out and can't be heard, and they're doing a great job in the community and being a powerful leader, I don't care who you are. You can't tell that person to be quiet and shut up and dribble, because that's basically what he was saying to LeBron James. So whether LeBron James talk about politics or involved in politics,
facts,
social justice, whatever the case may be, he's doing the right thing. And for a guy that does not even live in the United States of America, he cannot tell a black man how to be a black man in America, period.
Max Kellerman, let me get back to what you were saying a little bit earlier. A couple of points that needed to be addressed. Number one, I'm not shouting now. So let's be very, very clear about that. Nobody's shouting now. Number two, when you talk about drawing a line between politics and social issues, my comeback to that, Max Kellerman, is that I find it very, very interesting that those who disseminate messages towards other people want to dictate how it's received and responded to. That's one of the biggest problems that we have that exist in this nation. People want to run their mouths and speak and talk and say things, but then they want to complain at the same time about how it's received when you're talking about the other person. And what I'm saying is that I get your point about listening to the person and making sure you understand directly where they're coming from. But I would make an argument to you. You don't know definitively that that's where he was coming from. You can deduce it based on what he's saying, and you can reach that conclusion, but you don't know definitively. So your interpretation of what he was trying to say may not be wrong, but neither my mind.
Today, I'd like to respond to that point.
I'm getting to it. My point to you is that you can't definitively say it, neither can I. And so now it comes back to who's the offended party. You have this black athlete who is without question an iconic figure with global cachet. And you're saying to him, you don't need to be speaking. Just play and ignore what's transpiring in your community. Ignore what's transpiring in your nation. While at the same time, you made sure to highlight what you wanted to highlight that transcended beyond the field of play, Zlatan. That's what you did. So your words weren't consistent. They were applicable to you, but they shouldn't be applicable to LeBron James, which is somebody like myself and Kendrick Perkins come in and we say, wait a damn minute, who the hell you think you are? Because there's no consistency. Now, if you took what he said in a vacuum, Max, and you never took into account what he did for himself, you have a stronger point. But when you take into account what he did for himself and how you got a problem if LeBron James does it for himself, there's an inconsistency there, and it's wrong. It's not wrong for us to deduce why that might be.
Okay, I actually took notes on what you said because you made several points. I want to respond to them. I'll try to do it quickly. Sure. Number one, you're right. I don't know definitively. That's why you find out. You ask questions. You find out the follow-up, and you get more definitive answers.
No, you get a PC
answer.
answer.
If you feel is that righteous indignation and respond emotionally, you won't ask the questions. You won't find out. I think we're all the poorer for it. Number one. Number two,
fuck out of here.
LeBron is the offended party here. And LeBron responded the way he felt was appropriate. And LeBron's sense of how to publicly
fuck you mean? What you mean LeBron is the offended party? No, black people are the offended party on behalf of LeBron James. Because LeBron James is doing most of his shit on behalf of the black community. He even said it himself in his response, my people.
The best I've ever seen. And I think that it was quite effective in this case. Number three, Zlatan, I agree with you guys that if this is his answer, look, I stayed out of politics. I mentioned social prejudices and stuff, but I stayed out of politics. And that's what I'm saying to LeBron or whoever else. Stay out of politics. That's a different field. That's different than saying, hey, I feel discriminated against in this community. That's kind of social activism versus politics.
What politics is LeBron James involved in? LeBron James politics are 98% focused on the black community. 2% of it, they pull him over. He got to say something about gay community and say something about white women. Yes, I've seen him do that. They pull his show, they pull his coattail, they put some money in his pocket in their foundation, and they go do that. But we know they pay him to do that shit. LeBron know he has to speak out as far as the black community is concerned, because how he will be looked at. He saw how Michael Jordan is judged. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve. LeBron don't have to stay out of a motherfucking thing. If LeBron want to talk about why Eric Bieniemy don't got a job, LeBron can do that.
And I think reasonable people would tell him, look, you really can't do that. It's really not possible to genuinely try to respond to these issues, particularly Kendrick Perkins, as you mentioned, in this country, particularly around issues that affect African Americans, and not get into politics. But already now we're having a conversation about it. And by the way, if he turns out to be hard-headed and wrong-headed and stubborn and insulting about it, well, okay, then you may respond in kind, but I don't think we're there yet. He simply said he's into politics.
Max Kellerman is one of these white boys where if they don't actually call you nigger and burn the cross on your yard, is no reason to start taking action against the Peckerwood. That's what he said. That's what he basically said.
I stay out of politics. He should too. That's basically what he said. I disagree, but I don't think he needs to be castigated publicly for it.
Yeah, but Max, what is politics and social justice, racism, whatever the case may be, the world that we live in, especially in our country right now, you can't tell nobody what the hell to say or how to speak on any damn thing, because if we have a powerful leader like LeBron James that's speaking out for so many and trying to do and get what's right and make sure that everybody have civil rights, whether that's voter suppression, whether that's making sure kids make it out of the hood, whether that's making sure that kids be able to see their father again, because they're sentencing for a drug epidemic was handed out in football numbers. It doesn't matter what it is he's speaking out about. The world that we living in, you should be able to speak out on whatever the hell you want to. Now, I would never speak out on politics, because I'm not educated enough to do that. But LeBron James is educated. He's very educated to speak on any level. And I think as a leader and what he has shown us throughout his career, he has to speak out on whatever the hell he feel like it. And who is this guy in a whole nother country
Right.
to tell his African-American brother what he can and cannot speak on? That's the problem I have.
It's in a
dude with an opinion, and it's wrong-headed. Yeah, but
look, you heard the cracker. He's a dude with an opinion, and it's wrong-headed. He in another country. He's in another country. This nigga cried about Sweden treating him like a nigga. He is in a sport where they literally throw bananas at black people, and he's never said anything. But he said he don't like people to be in politics. I bet you a lot of that was for black soccer players.
Hold on. What we're doing, Max, is we're responding to
because they're sentencing for a drug epidemic was had football numbers. It don't matter what it is he's speaking out about. The world that we living in, you should be able to speak out on whatever the hell you want to. Now, I would never speak out on politics because I'm not educated enough to do that. But LeBron James is educated. He's very educated to speak on any level. And I think as a leader and what he has shown us throughout his career, he has the right to speak out on whatever the hell he feel like it. And who is this guy in a whole nother country to tell his African-American brother what he can and cannot speak on? That's the problem I have.
You're right, just a dude with an opinion, and it's wrong-headed. Yeah, but we're responding.
Really
Hold on. What we're doing, Max, is we're responding to LeBron's response to it all. Yep. And we're not chastising LeBron in any way. What we're saying is that it transcends just LeBron. It speaks to blackness as well, because we don't believe that those kind of words would have been articulated to somebody of a different hue, from a different culture. We don't believe that. We don't believe that Tom Brady would have ever been told to shut up and play football, or Drew Brees, or Larry Bird, or somebody. We believe those kind of things are reserved for us, because on far too many occasions, particularly when it comes to black excellence, people are more apt to believe that we should feel privileged. We should feel lucky and grateful as opposed to individuals who actually earned the positions that we are in. That's why you see Kendrick Perkins and myself responding the way that we responded, because we've seen that kind of language emanating from people who don't look like us on many occasions.
I get it, and I no doubt, and I feel likewise. My point is here, think about LeBron's response. He said, I'm never going to just stick to sports. I'm educated on these issues. I also found out about you. You spoke on a similar issue, and I have essentially a moral responsibility given my platform. That's right. That's the right message to get across. Not just
it's an incredible discussion, but Max, you're a different race than Stephen A. and Kendrick, so you might just feel differently just based on that alone, that you could never walk in their shoes so fully understand. So even if you think it's right, they might not believe it's right. Because again,
I feel right,
the racial difference
Molly,
right there.
I feel
no harmful pesticides, high quality ingredients.
This with Molly about the checker. He gonna try to push back. Oh, okay, it just cut off. But guess what? LVZ got cable.
Be honest, 11 bucks down the stretch to party.
Nah, don't worry about it. Why?
It's the world over. And so to me, this is the latest example of that. And I loved how LeBron came back and responded. But I also thought that LeBron was very classy and far too nice compared to what he could have been by an individual that was basically not only telling him to just shut up and play basketball, but he was also an individual that was telling him, you shouldn't be the one doing it, but evidently I could, because when I had an issue, I certainly brought it up, and it didn't have anything to do with the field of play. So it's okay for me to speak on things, but you should know your place. I think that's how LeBron James took it, and LeBron handled it with the deference, the class, the decorum that obviously nobody can argue with. I'm just saying, if it were me, I'd have been a hell of a lot harsher.
I love LeBron James's response. You like it, Stephen A., because you think he could have gone harder at Zlatan. I love LeBron's response precisely because he didn't. Because I look, Zlatan's entitled to his opinion, even if we think it's wrongheaded. Now, Stephen A., if you read into it and say, what are you really saying? I get it. But actually, LeBron's measured response, just stating the facts, I think was the most effective possible response. And look what he said. It's on the bottom of the screen. There's no way I would ever just stick to sports. The operative word is because I understand this platform and how powerful my voice is. In other words, if you want to talk about a moral responsibility, if you are a member of an oppressed group historically, then LeBron feels it. That's great. That's great that he responded the way he did. He's not making ad hominem attacks at Zlatan, although he points out, hey, look, you were saying kind of similar stuff where you're from, right? Like you were saying, hey, my last name, whatever else, led to behavior toward me that I didn't like. And what's curious, by the way, LeBron could have gone on. I've heard.
Now this dude just did something racist to a black player. Basket on a man just told me.
And immediately he's like playing.
I'm not shocked.
Immediately he says the best, the greatest, my idol. And Zlatan is,
if I can find that
himself the way Ali did. But if Ali's your idol, it's not just because he bragged a lot. It's because Ali stood up for what he believed in.
Me too, Chris. I wish I could see this Stephen A. more.
Oppression and oppressed groups everywhere.
He finally used his knowledge
career. So
and flipped it on Mac's ass for us.
Muhammad Ali had that point of view about himself in Europe, but then this point of view about LeBron. And LeBron's response to me is pitch perfect. I don't think it could be any better. No ad hominem attack, points out a hypocrisy, says, hey, wait a minute, why is that okay for you, but not okay for me? And most importantly, reinforces the idea that he feels a responsibility to do it. Not just that whether, well, I can do it, or I should just stay in my lane. No, LeBron saying, I have a responsibility given my platform. Pitch perfect, I have to say, as usual by LeBron.
No, Max, I have to disagree, and that's nonsense. Ain't nothing was pitch perfect about that response. And matter of fact, I hated the response that LeBron James gave, and here's why. He should have addressed Zlatan or whatever his name is, like the numbers on the house, and should have made him smell his cologne in that response. And by me saying that, because it's not about politics. It's not that LeBron James speaks out about politics. He's speaking out about humanity. All right, this is what we're talking about, humanity. What's going on in the black community these days? That's what LeBron James stands for. Growing up in Akron, Ohio, coming up really without a father figure in his life, knowing why the purpose why he opened up an I Promise school and wanted to provide such great people to help these kids in these black communities so they can get knowledge, so they can get up out of those communities and be something in life. Because, we go through so much that it get overlooked, okay? And what I'm not about to sit up here and stand for is no athlete or no other person, especially from another country, tell one of our powerful, iconic figures how to speak up and how to be a black man in America and be a leader in America. I'm not about to tolerate it. And LeBron should have addressed him like the numbers on the house, like I said before, because look, we deal with so much oppression over 400 plus years. You talk about things to nature where father figures are incarcerated for whatever reason and getting football numbers where they're not there in their children's lives nowadays, and now they need powerful, iconic figures like LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Dwayne Wade, Maya Moore, all these beautiful athletes that have been standing on the front line to make sure that these kids get the best opportunity that others are getting around the world. So I don't want to hear that, man. At the end of the day, to me, I thought it was nonsense for him to lash out at LeBron. I thought he was clout chasing, and LeBron took it too lightly on him.
I agree with you. I think LeBron took it too lightly on him. But Max, to get back to what you're saying, you know, Zlatan and how he tried to approach the matter. Listen, he was wrong off the bat because nobody should, and anybody that has a voice, particularly a voice is intelligent and as even keeled and as thoughtful as LeBron James, should speak out on what the hell he wants to speak out about, because he's not coming from a perspective of ignorance and being
What the fuck are you talking
about anything.
What is crisscross applesauce?
More importantly, where this elevates the conversation to another level.
How old are you?
Is that this
and what
guy,
neighborhood did you grow up in? To say some white geeky shit like that,
when
nigga?
He felt like speaking out.
I'm sitting Indian style. I always sat
and
like
how
that.
he felt he was treated
All my life.
He spoke
I
out.
don't know no
So
other way
for
to
me,
sit.
it
I got
really,
furniture.
really
I sit on the
because-
floor.
Oh, so it's okay for you.
That's how I am.
When you want to.
If I came over
But
your
this
house,
brother right here,
I got
who is
kids. They
one of
don't
the
say
most
that.
accomplished athletes in America,
a 25-year-old,
and
8-year-old
an activist
granddaughter,
in some respect,
they don't say that shit.
And it's been well known and it's been well documented what LeBron is.
I always said like this. If I came over your house and I was comfortable,
and beyond,
this is how you catch
what
it.
his contribution has been to America and beyond. Oh, excuse me. He's the one that you're going to sit up there and say,
they got that watch too many white people on TV.
These athletes, they shouldn't be speaking out. They should just be quiet and play. When you didn't do it, it says to me, you were saying, listen, you're a black man. You should be appreciative of what you have. Shut the hell up and go on about your business and just play. That to me is how I took what he said. And I don't think a tepid response was called for in that regard. I think it needed to be more forward. I'm not complaining about LeBron. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's got to be themselves. Please don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, if it were me, I'd have went all up in that, brother. I would have been making international headlines today. Directed at that dude for taking that position.
Look, I think you know me, and if I see injustice, and we've done it on this show, I'll go at people. So I agree, there is a time for that. I think in this case, Zlatan is making a slightly different point than you think he's making. And while you may disagree with it, if you react immediately and emotionally to it, you'll never have the conversation. And this is what he's saying. What he said specifically is that people should stay in their lane. In this case, he was talking about politics specifically.
Don't get angry, Negro.
Between social justice issues and politics, obviously. But they're not exactly the same thing. And while I agree with both of you, I think all three of us agree that how can you really stay out of politics? Particularly in this country, there's enormous overlap, especially in this last election year and what's gone on in this country over the last 4 years in particular. How do you stay out of politics and address these social issues? I don't know that Zlatan was talking about not touching social issues. He was talking about not touching politics. He is wrongheaded, I believe, for thinking, because in fact, in that same interview that I saw where he talked about Ali, he said he was asked about a certain political figure that we talked a lot about in the last 4 years, and he said what his comment one was nothing. In other words, if you ask him about a social issue, maybe he'll comment. But if you ask him about a political figure or politics specifically, he won't. We all may say that's wrongheaded. Here's why. In fact, no, you're wrong about LeBron James. Here's why. And that's what LeBron did. LeBron essentially addressed the point. But if you immediately have the knee-jerk angry reaction and don't actually listen to what was said and respond, then we just have a lot of shouting. Then we can be righteously indignant because there's plenty to be indignant about.
You don't have to listen, nigga.
Fact, he was actually saying, in a way, you're conflating social issues and politics. My response then is we ain't conflating. Oftentimes, there's such an overlap, they're basically the same. And LeBron must discuss politics at times if he wants to address social issues.
Well, Max, politics has to come into play when we talk about this social justice, because the only way that we're going to have change is by getting certain people in office to make change, right? That's the only way we're going to stop having cops kneel on black folks' necks for 8 minutes. That's the only way we're going to stop having black folks being shot in the back by police officers, is by forming groups like More Than a Vote. So politics do come into play. when it comes to a certain point of it. So, but my thing is this: you cannot. I don't care who you is, whether you think it's politics or it's social justice. If somebody is fighting for the right cause and somebody is being the voice for so many that can't speak out and can't be heard, and they're doing a great job in the community and being a powerful leader, I don't care who you are. You cannot tell that person to be quiet and shut up and dribble, because that's basically what he said to LeBron James. So whether LeBron James talk about politics or involved in politics and social justice, whatever the case may be, he's doing the right thing. And for a guy that does not even live in the United States of America, he cannot tell a black man how to be a black man in America, period.
Max Kellerman, let me get back to what you were saying a little bit earlier. A couple of points that needed to be addressed. Number one, I'm not shouting now, so let's be very, very clear.
So take that emotional shit out of it.
Number two, when you talk about drawing a line between politics and social issues, my comeback to that, Max Kellerman, is that I find it very, very interesting that those who disseminate messages towards other people want to dictate how it's received and responded to. That's one of the biggest problems that we have that exist in this nation. People want to run their mouths and speak and talk and say things, but then they want to complain at the same time about how it's received when you're talking about the other person. And what I'm saying is that I get your point about listening to the person and making sure you understand directly where they're coming from. But I would make an argument to you. You don't know definitively that that's where he was coming from. You can deduce it based on what he's saying, and you can reach that conclusion, but you don't know definitively. So your interpretation of what he was trying to say may not be wrong, but neither mine. It might not be with Kendrick. I'm getting to it. My point to you is that you can't definitively say it, neither can I. And so now it comes back to who's the offended party. You have this black athlete who is without question an iconic figure with global cachet. And you're saying to him, you don't need to be speaking. Just play and ignore what's transpiring in your community. Ignore what's transpiring in your nation. While at the same time, you made sure to highlight what you wanted to highlight.
Be good, JK.
Transcended beyond the field of play, Zlatan. That's what you did. So
I don't know why the fuck JK Branch gone.
They were applicable to you, but they shouldn't be applicable to LeBron James, which is somebody like myself and Kendrick Perkins come in and we say, wait a damn minute, who the hell you think you are? Because there's no consistency. Now, if you took what he said in a vacuum, Max, and you never took into account what he did for himself, you have a stronger point. But when you take into account what he did for himself and how you got a problem if LeBron James does it for himself, there's an inconsistency.
Y'all need to see the whiteness protection face. I have to protect my white brethren.
To deduce why that might be.
Okay, I actually took notes on what you said because you made several points. I want to respond to them. I'll try to do it quickly. Sure. Number one, you're right. I don't know definitively. That's why you find out. You ask questions. You find out the follow-up and you get more definitive answers. And I think if what you feel is that righteous indignation and respond emotionally, you won't ask the questions. You won't find out. I think we're all the poorer for it. Number one. Number two, LeBron is the offended party here. And LeBron responded the way he felt was appropriate. And LeBron's sense of how to publicly respond to people is among the best I've ever seen. And I think that it was quite effective in this case. Number three, Zlatan, I agree with you guys that if this is his answer, look, I stayed out of politics. I mentioned social prejudices and stuff, but I stayed out of politics. And that's what I'm saying to LeBron or whoever else. Stay out of politics. That's a different field. That's different than saying, hey, I feel discriminated against in this community. That's kind of social activism versus politics. And I think reasonable people would tell him, look, you really can't do that. It's really not possible to genuinely try to respond to these issues, particularly Kendrick Perkins, as you mentioned, in this country, particularly around.
This has been the white man, white explainer right here.
Not get into politics. But already now we're having a conversation.
Yeah, I wish we could. I wish I gave y'all Ranch time Max ass.
Wrong-headed and stubborn and insulting about it.
well, okay, then you may respond in kind, but I don't think we're there yet. He simply said he's into politics. I stay out of politics. He should too. That's basically what he said. I disagree, but I don't think he needs to be castigated publicly for it.
Yeah, but Max, whether it's politics and social justice, racism, whatever the case may be, the world that we living in, and especially in our country right now, you can't tell nobody what the hell to say or how to speak on any damn thing, because if we have a powerful leader like LeBron James that's speaking out for so many and trying to do and get what's right and make sure that everybody have civil rights, whether that's voter suppression, whether that's making sure kids make it out of the hood, whether that's making sure that kids be able to see their father again because they're sentencing for a drug epidemic was handed out in football numbers. It don't matter what it is he's speaking out about.
Kendrick telling the truth.
You should be able to speak out on whatever the hell you want to. Now, I would never speak out on politics because
it was that Yay dude that asked me, who do you agree with, Zlatan? No.
He's very
fuck Zlatan.
Speak on any level, and I think as a leader and what he has shown us throughout his career, he has the right to speak out on whatever the hell he's
Zlatan or whatever it is a racist bitch.
Another country to tell his African American brother what he can and cannot speak on. That's the problem I have.
You're right, just a dude with an opinion, and it's wrongheaded.
Yeah, but we were
Really
hold on.
Like Kendrick said, you don't even live here.
We're responding to LeBron's response.
Right, Kendrick, you don't even live here. Why are you
chastising LeBron in any way? What we're saying is that it transcends just LeBron. It speaks to blackness as well, because we don't believe that those kind of words would have been articulated to somebody of a different
from
a different culture. We don't believe that.
We
don't believe that Tom Brady would have ever been told to shut up and play football, or Drew Brees, or Larry Bird, or somebody. We believe those kind of things are reserved for us because on far too many occasions, particularly when it comes to black excellence, people are more apt to believe that we should feel privileged. We should feel lucky and grateful as opposed to individuals who actually earned the positions that we are in. That's why you see Kendrick Perkins and myself responding the way that we responded, because we've seen that kind of language emanating from people who don't look like us on many occasions.
I get it, and I no doubt, and I feel likewise. My point is here, think about LeBron's response. He said, I'm never going to just stick to sports. I'm educated on these issues. I also found out about you. You spoke on a similar issue, and I had
that wasn't strong enough. We're not happy about that.
Given my platform. That's right. That's the right message to get across. Not just
it's an incredible discussion, but Max, you're a different race than Stephen A. and Kendrick, so you might just feel differently just based on that alone, that you could never walk in their shoes, so fully understand. So even if you think it's right, they might not believe it's right. Because again,
I feel righteous.
The racial difference right there.
I feel righteous.
But you and I will never know what it's like to be black. We'll never know. We'll never know what that experience is like. As much as we try, we will not. All right, let's leave it there. The Nets had their 8-game winning streak, and that was snapped by the Mavericks.
All right, let's talk about the Nets. But look, all that talking back shit you do, not right now. Molly, thank you. Molly, thank you. Stephen A, good job. Kendrick Perkins, salute as always. Yeah. Now, yeah, Molly, like, look, motherfucker, normally I let you get back and forth with me. Max, you and I will never know what it's like to be black. I sleep with a black man every night. Say something to me. That motherfucker sat there like this. I said, but Max, Max. Thank you, Molly. Don't let him get the last word in right there, Molly. Right, guy. Max, I listened to this whole segment. You talking some bullshit. That was her nice way of saying you're white-splaining, Max. Oh, she got the backlash for that. And Jalen got the backlash. They felt it for a while. Motherfuckers weren't fucking with them. They felt that backlash. Would you say, Skrills? He canceled himself, Brody. Would you say that's it for him? Skrills. There's no coming back for you, Skrills. I understand, Skrills. He never, look, I never trusted him since boxing. He always was talking shit about Floyd. Don't forget about that. Shit, they just got it for 1 hour and 36 minutes, Memphis. What you talking about? Nigga, they just had my point of view for the last 1 hour and 36 minutes. Where have you been? What you said, where? We need your point of view on this, V. Nigga, I gave it to you. Oh, you want to hear what Skip Bayless said, no? Watch this. Watch this. So if you don't think, because what I did was I wanted to hear, I saw where Stephen A was going, and I knew y'all would like that. So I watched it, and I figured that'd be on. We already know what Shannon Sharpe gonna say. So really, the big thing is, what was Skip Bayless gonna say? So I recorded the last 15 minutes of Undisputed. The last 15 minutes. Hear me when I tell you they talk like 2 minutes on it. You see, they talk for 21 minutes. They talk for 2 minutes on first take. Most of it was Shannon. I didn't record all of Shannon because Shannon said he loved what LeBron said.
I think we're approaching the All-Star break, and these guys have their eyes on the prize.
And I was like, oh, God.
Right now,
you
becoming political. Like somehow right and wrong now is political. You see someone not getting justice, someone not getting equality, and you're political. Well, let me tell you what I'm about. I don't know what party I'm a part of, Skip. I'm for right and wrong. I'm for justice. I'm for equality. I'm for treating people the right way. So if that's conservatism, if that's liberalism, I don't know what party that is. That's the party I'm a part of. And maybe I'm a party of one.
You're a black man.
But what I do, what I seem to think now, Skip, is universal. It's, especially if you're black. If you're black and you make a lot of money, shut your mouth and dribble. Shut your mouth and catch or hit the baseball. Why should you be concerned about things like that? You make tons and tons of money because even though he's not American, he speaks as though a lot of white Americans, what they say, Skip, shut up and dribble. Shut up and hit. Shut up and catch. So he's entitled to his opinion, just like he wanted, maybe he was asked about LeBron, but I love the way LeBron responded. LeBron says, I'm well versed on what I say and what I do, and I'm never going to shut up and dribble.
Shannon, usually, almost always, I would have loved LeBron's response, except in this case, I wish he had just shrugged, rolled his eyes, and said, consider the source. Period, end of story. Let it go.
Okay, you want to.
This is beneath his dignity. This is Zlatan Ibrovimivich, who he is the ultimate showman. He's a part entertainer. He says outrageous things right, left, up, and down to try to top his own outrageousness, to get a rise out of the public, to enhance his mystique as the world's biggest soccer villain. He has been accused of being a dirty player by rivals and his own teammates during their practices. And in the end, he has zero credibility when it comes to this because he's just calculated enough that he knew if he poked the biggest bear, LeBron James, on this subject, he would get a response. And he got it right back between the eyes. And somewhere he was laughing because he just wanted the attention. He doesn't deserve the attention because LeBron is the one man in all of sports who does not need to defend himself when it comes to using his platform to further racial and social change and justice, because nobody has ever been greater than LeBron at using his platform.
Right.
So it's like he doesn't need to defend himself because he's LeBron. And especially this guy, and this guy knew enough, Shannon, because remember, Zlatan did play for the LA Galaxy during part of LeBron's first go around with the Lakers in LA.
Yeah, LA.
Snow
Enough to know exactly what LeBron is, and knows that if he pokes here, pushes there, probes here or there, he could get a response out of LeBron, and he got one. And I love what LeBron said in a vacuum because he's exactly right. I just hated that he wasted his breath on this guy.
Yeah. LeBron, some things, like when it comes to situations like this, Skip, LeBron probably is never going to let it go. Because basically, essentially, what he's saying in his terminology is shut up and dribble.
What's up,
LeBron
bro?
is never going to shut up and dribble.
And
what we're seeing today, Skip, today's athletes. Today's athletes are not going to shut up and just stick to sports. That's not happening.
And it started with LeBron.
It feels like we are so past that, right? Like now, no, that's not going to change. And if you're right, Zlatan wanted a response. He got one. I love that LeBron always is never afraid to share what he believes. Guys, is Giannis learning how to be clutch, or did the Clippers?
You saw how quick that one was? Y'all saw how quick that was? Did you see how quick that was? So now he's saying LeBron should have just took the high road. Consider the source. Look. What's good, Saints? Look. The biggest problem that people have with LeBron James is this passive aggressiveness. And right there was the time I had a problem with his passive aggressiveness. I was LeBron and said, this guy could eat a dick. I'm live on this jump, Jeff. I gotta hit Jeff. I wish LeBron had told that Zlatan dude to eat a dick. Let me call Jeff. For real, I wish Zlatan had told what's her name to eat a dick. I mean, LeBron told Zlatan eat a dick. Said, ain't this the dude that just said something race? I guess not. I can tell he don't like politics. He only likes social issues when they concern him. Because he plays in a sport where they literally taunt black men all the time. And, okay. Read you a book. And then I'll tell you what to do from there. He literally plays in a sport where they make he literally plays in the sport where they taunt black people and make monkey noises. What's good, man? What's good? I was sitting here doing a live about I'm sitting here doing a live about Zlatan and LeBron. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you put in that type of work, right? Did that not happen?
I put you on speaker, Jeff, so people can hear this.
Yeah.
Jeff just called me. Well, Jeff, real quick, did you hear about the soccer player that basically told LeBron he needed to shut up and dribble?
The same motherfucker that spoke about his own racial issues. That guy?
Yeah. And then basically the same guy that plays in a sport where they literally taunt black men, and he ain't say nothing about that, but he speaks up. It's okay to speak up. And Max Kellerman tried to defend him. You missed it. I did a whole thing about it just a minute ago. But Jeff just reminded me of something, y'all. And y'all remind me if Jeff reminded me right. Didn't Kyle Kuzma say niggas need to be in the lab? And what do you mean, like get in shape or something and be ready or something?
Practice and work on their craft.
Practice and work on their craft. Yeah, that wasn't Brandon. That wasn't Lonzo trainer either. That was Kyle Kuzma trainer that said that, right?
Last I remember.
Yeah, that was Kyle Kuzma trainer.
And Kyle Kuzma, I remember Chicky was dropping a bunch of videos saying that, remember like how he was throwing shots at LeBron? Mind you, it's not even about the shots, man. Because I made a video saying why Kuzma's been disappointed. And I see a lot of people really like, yo, man, Kuz, like scoring is not everything. Kuz is out here playing defense. He's getting rebounds. Bro, tell me if this don't sound familiar to you. In the minute, right? You have these dudes, right, that are out of shape. They finally passed the PT test, right?
Right.
They failed the PT test, but this time around, right, they need to do 2 miles, less than 60 minutes and 30 seconds.
And they got it.
In 15 and 40.
Yeah.
Right? They're getting praised. Everybody's like, look at this guy that went from failing to passing. Meanwhile, I'm running 2 minutes in less than 13 minutes.
Yeah. Right.
And I bring up this point for people who don't get what I'm going to. Right? I'm dropping a whole video about this, right? People are praising Kyle Kuzma for finally realizing that, hey, wait a minute, you can play defense too. Right? No, tell me I'm lying. What? People are praising him, not because he's out here locking me, but he's not locking anybody down.
No.
Just because he's playing.
He just in the way. He just in the way. He's just in the way. Yeah, he not getting ran by. He not playing turnstile defense. He's still doing goofy ass fouls.
Mm-hmm. But one, check this out too. He also this year just came up to the realization that he can get rebounds. Damn, dog. You know what I mean? Like, tell me if I'm tripping.
That's not true. Somebody says that's not true. That's not? It's not true. He playing great. Who is he locking down? We haven't beat a really good team this year with Kyle Kuzma has been in the game and locked somebody down. And let's tell the truth. Tell the truth, Shannon Devil. What defense have you seen Kyle Kuzma play? You went Caruso played better defense than him too.
Schroeder plays better defense. Braun plays better defense. Bro, he's like the fifth best defender on the team. Montrez plays better defense.
Well, I won't go that far.
Man.
I won't go that far.
No. Here's why I'll go Montrez. Here's why I'll go Montrez, because he is undersized, and that faults him, right?
Listen.
At the power forward position, not when they put him at center. When they put him at the power forward position, which is what Trez is, he is a better defender, in my opinion. We'll go on.
Yeah. But again, y'all praising the motherfucker. You praising the motherfucker. All right, what y'all doing is praising the motherfucker for not being a crackhead no more. See, that's what y'all niggas not getting. Ron Town and T-Town, what y'all ain't understanding, you praising the nigga for not being. Man, he stopped smoking crack now. He not good on defense. Thank you, Percy. He not good. He just not as bad. It's like a motherfucker who illiterate. It's like a motherfucker who, I'm not talking about shots. I'm talking about defense right now. See, look at you move the goalpost now. It's like a motherfucker who's illiterate. Now he can read green eggs and ham. He's not ready to take the bar. Stop it.
Mind you, right? To get back into it, when I say disappointing, right? If y'all expect
what is this? Hold up,
like,
my bad. A nigga sit here talking about he doing his job protecting Kyle Kuzma. His job when was gone to not help. How did I know we was gonna go on a losing streak with LeBron and Kyle Kuzma? Because Kyle Kuzma's just a role player. And we need, and if we can get somebody for him, we need to get rid of him.
One, this is what I'm about to get to say. If y'all are telling me, right, that Kyle Kuzma's ceiling is a role player, you got me. Y'all got me. If you're telling me right now, if you expected him this year to be a slightly above average role player, you got me. Right. He hasn't been disappointed because that's what he's been. I actually expected him to be, I don't know, man, good. You know, like, yes, scoring is not everything. You are playing with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. You are getting the third to the fourth, and you're coming off the bench. You're getting the third to the fourth worst defender on you at all times, man. You gotta have games where you give me more than 5 points, man.
Right.
Guys, remind you, people need to stop talking about Coons like he's 21 years old.
And stop talking
he's
about
25.
And stop talking about what they asking him to do. Now Anthony Davis is gone. He can get the shots if he wants them. I know AD said he like how Kuz playing. Guess what? Laker fan, but AD has been constantly on a losing team, so I don't care what AD likes.
Not just that. Let me give you one, man. Let me give you one, right? I'm not even going to go to Jason Tatum. Let's go to Jaylen Brown, man. Right. How do y'all think Jaylen Brown would play with Anthony Davis and LeBron James?
I about to say, yeah, let's take Jaylen Brown and Kyle Kuzma.
Let's keep it above. Y'all think Jaylen Brown would average like less than 10 points a game because he's playing with LeBron James and Anthony Davis? Come on, y'all.
Right.
Yeah, like, look. For what Kyle Kuzma is doing, and if we're going to lower the bar for him to be a solid rotational player, he has not been disappointing. But for a guy who had a commercial early on this year talking about all the doubters and about how he was going to come out and show us something, I expected more. I don't understand why we got to be so okay because the dude just realized he can try harder on defense and try to get rebounds harder. And I'm supposed to clap like a fucking field because this dude realized that you can try on defense and you can get rebounds.
Yeah.
Bro, like, meanwhile, we have this crazy expectations for other people, right? Remember, like, I think you're talking about it, one where, what you were saying, how LeBron was a fraud for a 4-game losing streak?
Yeah. But Kuzma was right there in the number 2 option.
But now he's rebounding and defending, though. So,
yeah, I'm about to say, motherfuckers still making excuses as if he could do that shit if AD still playing. AD's not playing. It's just him and LeBron. When Dennis Schroeder came back, I kept arguing. If we had Schroeder, we could win some games. We can't win no games with just LeBron and Kuzma. Kuzma can't do it. He can't. Kuzma could score 40 points in a losing effort.
Let's backtrack last year.
That's who he is.
Remember, Kuz. I don't know if you remember, Kuz was supposed to be the third guy, right? It ended up having to be Rondo because it can't be him, man. He cannot be a third best player, which to me is a disappointment.
Thank you.
For what Kuz was supposed to be, the fact that he cannot on this team this year, he's what, the 5th best player on the team? How?
Right.
You're supposed to eventually overtake LeBron as he aged.
Right.
It was supposed to be 80.
I don't think y'all get.
Then eventually Kuz. Yeah.
Nah, keep going, because I don't think they getting it. Go ahead, keep going.
Yeah. So when we're talking about Kyle Kuzma, for the average player, he's doing just fine. But y'all forget he's supposed to be good, man. His comp is supposed to be Jaylen Brown. And right now, if y'all think y'all have it, right? So you mean to tell me if Jaylen Brown was in the same exact situation and he was just doing what Kyle Kuzma is doing, you would be satisfied? If the answer is no, you have even lower expectations of Kyle Kuzma than Jaylen Brown. That is not a good player. That is a rotational guy, and people forgot Kuzma's supposed to be this quasi-star. He's nowhere near that right now, man. And people are praising him like, yo, the moment you are praising a guy that's supposed to be, at one point we're talking about being your third best player, and you're praising him for finally deciding to play defense. Not great, not lockdown, just above average defense, and become a solid rebounder. That is a disappointment. And I feel like a lot of people don't even realize how much they've lowered their expectations because they got tired of being disappointed by Kyle Kuzma.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep it real.
Let's keep it 100.
This is good for you because you gave up on expecting him to be good.
Because look.
That's it.
Let's be honest. When LeBron came, Kyle Kuzma went from being the third, he was the second scoring option. He went to being the third with LeBron and AD. LeBron and AD, he was supposed to be the number 3. Somehow the number 3 went from KCP, Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, Rondo, Caruso, and then one week it was fucking who was it? Marquise Morris 1 week. Then Dwight. Then Caruso. Kuzma made an appearance, but nah. So he went from being the supposedly third piece in their big 3 to a bench player. Now the 5th best player on the team. He would not average 20 and 2 in Boston, Ron Tom Tizzy. They'd be a losing ass team. I don't give a fuck if he was the 27th pick in the draft. Now we're going to go back to that where he wasn't just drafted then. We're talking about he went from 15 to 17, 17 to like 16, 16 to 10, now a role player. Back when you was talking the beginning of the season, last year, he was going to be the third piece. He could average 15, 16 points. He ain't showing you that ability.
Bro.
I mean, just let's keep it 100. Shane the devil. Now y'all making all these types of bitch ass excuses. Third round pick. How the fuck Schroeder and all of them averaging more points than him or than what he ever did playing with LeBron and AD? Why is Schroeder and them not finding problems averaging more points than Kyle Kuzma? And they play defense too. And Schroeder play way better defense. Oh, so he posted to score 9. The fuck out of here. I don't got time for you Kylie Kuzma niggas. No, you tripping, nigga. So you telling me it's acceptable to go from supposedly being the third option. Yeah, because when y'all talking just because y'all want to be Kyle Kuzma stands, how the fuck we tripping his play going down? You talking about if we put, I should time your dumb ass out for saying Kyle Kuzma averaged 20 with Boston. He couldn't do it with the Lakers with nobody on the team. He gonna shoot more than Kimber and Jason Tatum. Ron Tom. Go finish your third and then go play with some toys in your room. Y'all niggas just being sold. He never stepped up. It don't matter if you got Fred VanVleet undrafted.
Kendrick Nunn.
Undrafted.
He out here putting up with damn near 20 points a game right now, man.
Where was Devontae Graham drafted? Rozier been on the bench his whole fucking career. Charlotte is a contender. Y'all sound silly. He never stepped up. Let's just keep it real. He can play good on a sorry team. How you gonna tell me he gonna average 20? He can't average 20 being the number 3 with fucking AD and LeBron. But he gonna average 20 being the number 3 with Jason Tatum and Kemba Walker. No, he's not. He's not. Marcus Smart gonna get more shots than him. Yes. Marcus.
Question, bro.
I never.
We got, right?
Huh?
Yo, we got, right? When you look at the Lakers,
they talking crazy,
right? Remember,
cause I don't care. Oh, y'all think you can, Jacory? You can go with him. Cause I don't play favorites. When you talking dumb shit on this channel, we gonna give you 30 to think about it. You can't just keep trolling in here. Y'all tripping, making excuses for a nigga who numbers going down, and then telling us how he'll be better on a team full of good players when he on a team full of good players and literally not doing better. You don't think nobody deserve a timeout for that? Yeah, Charlotte is number 4 in the East. Or what? They number 5, 6 in the East? No, they 7. They 7. Yeah, Charlotte is contending. Shit, the Knicks contending. They 4 and they 500. No, they game over 500. That's terrible. The East so bad, you can be a game over 500 and be number 4. That's me. I'm the moderator. Only I can time out other moderators. So yeah. Hell yeah, you ain't gonna keep trolling that shit up in here. Y'all tripping. You ain't coming with no facts. You sound like everybody I ether. But I'm supposed to let them get away with that. I ain't take their wrench. I timed them out. They sound like everybody I ether. I'm like, hold the fuck up. His number. Y'all can't see that Kyle Kuzma has become from he went, let's go from his rookie year, since y'all niggas talk about he had 27th pick. That was weak. That shit really got on my nerves. Cause that shit didn't hold him back from being one of the best stars in the rookie class. That shit didn't hold him back from averaging 15. That shit ain't holding him back from the next year. His numbers going up. That shit ain't holding him back from when we had Brandon Ingram was better than him. We had Lonzo, all them other players. Kuzma was still scoring 15. Kuzma has 1 or 2 games where he makes an appearance. Out of an 80-game season, and y'all telling me the reason is because he played with LeBron. Some nights I see LeBron score 19. You know Kuzma should score 30. He don't. He don't. Y'all say he need to score. And then somebody gonna put some more shit. I guess he should score 20. He's scoring 9. 10. That's not no. When I see Dennis Schroeder scoring 13, I'm thinking Kyle Kuzma could still average his 15 points. So what, is not enough minutes in the game for him to average 15? How about he get to the basket and get some more free throws? How about he be more under control when he drives? How about he finally learn how to lay it up instead of trying to dunk? Be a better playmaker. It's year number 4. It's year number 4. He talked about LeBron. Jeff called me. You know I had to get you. Jeff called me and said to me, the first thing Jeff said, remember how Kyle Kuzma said that LeBron players needed to step up and all of this and all of that old other weird shit he said. Well, don't you think that same thing applies to him? I mean, think about it, y'all. Mark, what's up? Don't that same thing apply to him? Like Jeff said, if Kuzma could say LeBron need to get in the lab and work on his craft and this and that, Kuz need to do that too. Right. Hey, John, I understand that. But what I said was 15. Is he doing that? You know how much better the Lakers would be if Kyle Kuzma could average 15 points? For real. Jeff.
Yeah, I'm right here, bro.
Yeah. Tell him, how much better would the Lakers be if Kyle Kuzma could average 15 points and shoot 36% from three?
Bro, they'll be in the single-digit losses, bro.
Right.
Bro, if he can actually come and average 15 and when AD is not playing, bro, we're not asking Kuz to be something like that he can't do that. So, like, I don't understand why everyone's expectation for him is so low. Be a consistent driver to the rim, be under control, and average about 15, right? Make the Lakers not want to play Marquise Morris in the starting lineup over you. But we're not like, these aren't like major hurdles, though.
Right.
These aren't major things to ask. And keep playing defense and getting rebounds. Nobody asking Kyle Kuzma to do nothing crazy, man. Don't let Marquise Morris beat you on the starting spot and actually be consistent on the offensive end. If your shot's not falling, we get it. Why can't he drive and be effective? You got nothing but open lanes with playing with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And when they're not in there, why can't you find different ways to be effective? Bro, like, I don't understand why people have such low expectations for Kyle Kuzma, man. We're not asking him to average 25. Come on, bro.
Let's go to Jeff's point, y'all. Kyle Kuzma averaging 11.1 points or 44% shooting from the field. 6.5 rebounds.
That's good on the rebound.
And 1.1 assists. Now, this is the problem that Jeff's saying. What, OKC, Memphis, all of the OKC 15 February, but AD I think was there. 20 in Memphis, 19 in Denver, 7 in Minnesota.
That's it. See, one right there. That's the shit I'm talking about, bruh. Like these fall off games where you having 0, 5. Why can't he not consistently average, right? When he's getting the minutes around 15, 17, have a couple games in my book for 25, but consistently be an effective scorer. But go ahead, bro.
Now watch. Listen to Jeff's point, y'all. 16 against Brooklyn after the 7-point game. All 7 for 13 shooting and 9 rebounds. That was a good game. I wasn't mad at it. 23 against Miami. Terrible game. 8 for 21 from the field. 23 points. But at least he was shooting. He realized AD was there. LeBron sat down at the end of that game and they let him shoot a lot. Against the Wizards.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
Against the Wizards, he give us a double-double. 14 and 11, 5 for 16. Against Utah, 5 points, 2 for 7. Against Portland, 4 points. That's what y'all talking about, 11 rebounds. But what bailed us out was because Schroeder was there. his 11 rebounds, you could honestly say when a motherfucker was 1 for 5 from the field, 4 of them rebounds might have been his own.
Hey.
Then he gave us 12 and 11 last night. That's good. 12 and 11 in 20 minutes. That's good work in a little bit of time. If you can do that all the time, cool. But like what Jeff's saying, you had too many pockets where those games don't happen.
Right. And it's okay, because here's the thing. Here's where I think we differ, man. And where it's kind of one thing where we get labeled as one criticizing and hating, but we think highly of these people we get accused of hating for than they even do. Kuz can consistently do that, right? But the problem is he hasn't been able to, but I'm going to hold him to the standard of being a consistent player, man. I don't understand why nobody wants to hold him to that standard.
Exactly.
Yes, playing defense is good. Yes, getting rebounds is good. But offensively, you need to be a more consistent scorer. When your shot is not falling, that can't be the end of your offensive production. That's all we're saying, man. If your shot isn't falling, find a way. Get to the paint. Be effective. Don't have it be, my three's not falling, so therefore, I'm going to be 1 for 6 tonight. That's it. That's a wrap. And I'm going to shoot 5 threes. That's not good enough, man.
Somebody just said, and then I seen somebody tell me earlier, Kuzma don't dribble good enough. Kelly Oubre didn't for a long time, but he know how to cut. He knows how to cut. You don't have to always dribble to get the fucking ball. Look, you got LeBron James and AD, and you got Schroeder. Learn how to cut. Get an easy layup.
I don't know if you remember this stat. I don't know if you remember the stat early on, right? When you that year without AD. Bro, most of LeBron assists went to Kuz, man. Look, Kuz can find a way to be effective cutting to the basket. The problem is, right, people aren't watching Kuz enough, I think.
I am.
He can put everything together and be consistent. He can do it, but he's not. Because I feel like right now, one of the reasons no one's putting pressure on him to be consistent, which he is capable. You can get more from Kuz than this, man. The problem is too many of y'all are like patting his dude on the back, like ready to get his dude a trophy for giving you 11 rebounds. Like, nah, man. This. I'm gonna leave it with this, man. Kyle Kuzma, right, should not have the Lakers feeling they even need to play Marquise. All those minutes they should feel need to go to Kuz because how effective and how consistent he is. Once he becomes more consistent, more reliable, right, he'll get more minutes.
Right.
And he'll actually be able to be a productive player, not just a role player, but somebody like a Schroeder who is needed within their system. If Kyle Kuzma plays or Kyle Kuzma doesn't, let's be real, it don't make that much of a difference for the Lakers, man. Like, come on, man. Like, let's be real. It doesn't make that much of a difference for them, dog. There's never times on the court I'm like, man, if Kuz was in here, that's not a thing, man. I'm sorry, y'all.
And thank you, Jeff.
Go ahead.
I'm glad Jeff did that. Jeff is basically telling you, Ron Town and UT Town, what we saying ain't that Kuz a bum. What we saying is we think he should be doing this. And he's not. He's not playing up to expectation. Like Jeff just said, I feel like Kyle Kuzma is good enough where we should feel like we need him on the floor. It's too many times where he not on the floor and you go, I understand. You see what I'm saying?
Last night, I was watching Marquise play. I was like, I get it. I'm like, what? Cause like at first, I was like, why are they starting him over Kuz? But then certain points of the game, I'm like, I see why.
You see why?
I see why.
Because like you say, he might not be as fast as Kuz. Kuz might even be a better offensive option sometime, y'all. But like everybody just typed in the chat, a lot of people typed in the chat room. One thing you got to worry about Keith Moore is he ain't going to be out of control and have happy feet. He's going to play within himself. And Kyle Kuzma don't do that every night.
You know what you're getting from him.
You know exactly every night from Keith Morris, you know what you're going to get.
You know what you... Even on nights he's not effective, you're getting the same guy.
Exactly.
It's whether or not his shots fall enough. You're getting a very consistent
dude.
That's all we're asking Kuz to be, bro. And that's the part people crazy. Bro, we understand, man. We get Kuz not gonna average 25 with AD and Braun. That's not the disappointment.
Yes.
We're glad to see him playing defense, getting rebounds.
Right.
Great. He still needs to be more consistent.
He still needs to be more consistent.
Right? If he was that legitimate, right? That legitimate guy that could, on some nights, be a star.
The real third option.
Right. Where would the Lakers be, man?
That's what we saying.
Think about it right now.
That's what we saying.
Man.
Lakers would be untouchable if Kuzma was a real third. I'm gonna give it to you like this. Let me give it to you like this. Watch this, y'all. Because I happen to know Steph Curry is playing way more minutes than LeBron James. Watch this. I'm gonna give y'all Kelly Oubre stats. Because his stats done went down playing with another star, but I like how he's been playing. Know why? Because I don't, again, expect him to average 20 with them. But he averages 15-5, 5.9 boards, and 1.4 assists, shooting 43%, and that's going up now.
And he started off terrible this year.
He started off terrible.
Terrible. Early on this year, too. So he's been hot lately. For his numbers to go up that much, he's been hot. Because he was like, what, he like in the low 20s?
Yeah.
In the beginning of the year?
Yeah. So, but to Jeff's point, now listen to these last joints. 17, 10, 4. 17, this against Orlando. 17, 10, and 4, 6 for 12. Brooklyn, 17, 10, and 2, 6 for 15. Cleveland, 14, 6 for 14, 3 boards, 1. Miami, 23, 8, 2 assists, 9 for 15. Orlando, 26, 7, 1. Charlotte, 25, 6, 1. New York, 19, 8, 2. Indiana.
Kuz can do that, bro. But that's what I'm saying. Kuz can do that, y'all. Like, for everyone that's saying, Kyle Kuzma can give you that. If Kyle Kuzma is at his best and doing what he's capable of doing, he can give you that.
No, Ron Tizzy, you don't got me. He the fifth option because of him. See, that's what you're not understanding. He did not start. When we initially put AD and LeBron together, who was the third option, y'all? Type it in there.
Remember?
When the season started, who was supposed to be the legit number 3?
Bro, remember, guys like Jalen Rose was saying that, hey, they might have a big 3 because of Kyle Kuzma. Remember Braun saying, yo, they need Kuz to be that third guy in order to win a championship. That shit changed. But remember, that was the expectation they had on him. He couldn't do it.
So you can't say he the fifth option. You can't say he the fifth option now. Cause you can't say, well, see, he the fifth option now. Yeah. Cause when they gave him the chance to be the third, he ain't step up. And then worse than that, guess what? Y'all niggas is denying the fact that he still got the chance to be the third option. Nobody is clearly the Lakers' third option. But y'all clearly know Kuzma not. Hey, Jeff, see, Jeff, it don't take long for me to get him. I got you now. I got you two niggas now. Because look, Nobody knows. It's no clear number 3 on the Lakers. Everybody know that. But y'all Kuz fans, Kuzma ain't the number 3. Why is that? Because y'all know, even though you saying he hooping, he ain't hooping that good. He ain't hooping that good. He's replaceable. Look at that. JJ for Phantom says Schroeder. Look, nobody says Kuzma's the third option anymore now. Not even Kuzma fan.
Right. If the pecking order is what?
Right.
Ron, AD, Schroeder, Trez. As far as being important to the team, shit, bruh. I might put Caruso over him, though.
Right, because he played better defense at the point.
Yeah.
He played better defense.
I might put Caruso over him, though. Yeah. I mean, you can argue it. You can argue yourself that's the best player, though. You can argue it.
Yeah, Kuzma a better player than him. But Kuzma don't know how to get to the free throw line. As far as importance to if we rank an importance to the team, Caruso, I was watching the Nets game. Why you think Kyrie couldn't get off like that? Caruso was playing great defense.
Caruso was a good defender, yeah.
That's why I said if we had Schroeder, we could have put Caruso and Schroeder in the fucking backcourt, shut down Kyrie, and put some pressure on James to shoot worse. But without Schroeder, he was cooking all them other motherfuckers. I'm telling y'all. I'm sorry.
There's no lie in nothing you're saying, man.
I'm ready to change Kuz. I'm ready to trade Kuz. I've been ready to trade Kuz.
Right now, for all the cool people, right? With all the potential, everything that y'all say he can be. If y'all can get Jeremy Grant right now from Detroit, right? So you go to Detroit, he gets the shine, do all that. Would you do it? Of course. If you can get Jeremy Grant, throw in the fillers that make it work. If you can get Grant for fucking KCP and Kyle Kuzma, let's be real, all you cool fans. You saying no to that?
No.
Because you saying no to that.
T-Town just said it before you even got the shit out. He said, I'll trade him. That's what we're saying. He not supposed to be traded. Before, when we got AD, y'all. Okay, let's sum it up like this. Hold up, T-Town. Let's sum it up like this. Before we got AD, one of the guys we said we had to keep was who? Kuzma. We got AD now. Why are we talking about he one of the people we can afford to get rid of? Do you think if we kept Brandon Ingram, you would be saying that? I do it better. If we kept Josh Hart, would we be saying that? No. Josh Hart always played defense, always rebound hard, always would shoot, always worked on his shot. We knew what we would have got. We'd be able to sit KCP ass down or get rid of him, and Braun would have been fine. We'd have had a young dude who can be a combo guard. Y'all niggas who don't like Caruso, I agree that Josh Hart better than him.
All right, Josh Hart. I think right now, to me, and by the way, I think the Heat should make a move on this, man.
Yeah.
Bruh, somebody got to make a move for Zach LaVine, man. Out of Miami, I don't know if the Lakers got it. Miami, we got enough, man. We give up Hero because, bro, they need somebody. This is me. I know the Heat does. The Lakers can use it, but I know for sure we do. We need somebody that can consistently put the ball in the basket at a high level and to bring it all back around to the cool shit. Look, if you could trade that dude for somebody that's a consistent scorer, you're going to do it. Just for the fact that somebody could be more consistent and be more valuable than him, bro, that's it, man. What else are we really talking about? That's a wrap, man. The fact that just somebody could be consistent. And again, that defense and rebound, bro, there's a lot of dudes in the league. At that level, there's a lot of dudes that can give you that, bro. That ain't that special. I know some of y'all Coons fans don't want to hear it, bro. It ain't that special, bro. For that level of defense and that rebounding, it ain't that, like, yo, it's not that hard to find. I'm sorry.
Exactly, man. That motherfucking, I was trying to tell motherfuckers, man, come on, y'all. Y'all got to be honest. Kuzma was playing pretty good.
Role player.
Yeah, but let's talk about that. Let's talk about something. Like T-Town was trying to say. You expect him to average 20. No. But what I'm saying is, if I traded him and got Zach LaVine, would you expect him to average 11? Would you be okay with Zach LaVine?
Hell no. Zach LaVine averaging at least 20, bro. Easy.
See what I'm saying?
And he'll be more efficient, too.
You see what Jeff is trying to say? You see the standard that you hold niggas to? This is what Jeff trying to say. If we picked up DeMar DeRozan, who supposed to probably be on the wave of trade wise, we got DeMar DeRozan. Would you be okay with him getting 11 points and saying he rebounding good? Would you be okay with that? I didn't say okay with Zach scoring 15 plus. I know you probably would be, but we know Zach LaVine not going to score that low. But would you have Kuzma numbers? If the answer is no, then our criticism is valid, my brother. Look at Cypress guy. If the answer is
Zach LaVine will average over 20 with the Lakers, bro.
Right.
I want people to know that. He's going to average over 20
I'm
with the
about to
Lakers.
say, Zach LaVine play with the Lakers. He averaging over 20. Niggas like Schroeder and them, they averaging 9 or 11. Nah, because Zach get a ball up. So they going to get their 12 and their 11 points. But Zach LaVine, they having 3 20-point scores.
Yeah.
Fuck what you talking about.
Gonna go up. His number's going to go down. Yeah.
Right.
Because Brown number's going to go down, but his assist's going to go up. Same thing with Schroeder.
I'm about to say what's going to end up happening is Braun numbers going to go down. Schroeder numbers going to go down a little bit, but both their assists going to go up by 3.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be 4 lobs a game where that little red nigga going to be gliding through the air that they throwing him. A game.
Not just that, bruh. Look what that boy shooting from 3, man. Look how consistent he is. Look how in control he is on offense. The pick and roll with him and Braun, him and AD, bruh. Yo,
you saying what
Lakers,
he said the Lakers don't got enough to get Zach LaVine. Nigga, didn't they say that? I said the same thing about Anthony Davis, dude.
I think they do. Because, again, bro, wait a minute, hold on.
I said the same
thing. That may not be the same people talking about, like, Coons, man.
No, this a new dude. This a new dude just came in.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to tell him. Do you know anybody now? Look, did they really have enough to get James Harden?
Hell no.
SB talk. Did they really have enough to get James Harden?
Tell them that trade, bro. I'm telling y'all, like, the Bulls, it depends on how highly they view Kyle Kuzma, right? Again, if I'm them, I'm not doing it. But, again, bad organizations do what bad organizations do. What was it, Kyle Kuzma, Caruso, who I hate to let go, but for Zach LaVine, he'll be fine. Like, what was it, Kuz, Caruso, KCP, and
THT?
Yeah. Bet.
Oh, and the 2027 pick. Yeah, it's the 2027 pick. We give them that. You gotta add it.
That's
6 years from now.
That's a great trade.
Yeah, 6 years from now, y'all have another number one.
Mm-hmm. And mind you, like, Zach LaVine is good, but he's still on a bad team that he's not capable of having them win.
Right, I'm about to say.
You get cool.
The only reason that they ain't think about trading them right now because the East so bad, they still in contention because of the play-in game.
Oh, yeah, I forgot how bad the East.
That for real, the East so bad. Fuck you mean that trade trash? if Brandon Ingram wasn't good, what was good about the trade that the Lakers gave the Pelicans?
Wait, what they expecting Zach LaVine to go for?
Exactly. I was about to say, who do you think Zach LaVine was gonna go for?
He's gonna go for around that, man.
Yeah.
Like after that, swap out somebody another first round pick.
Yeah. He's not gonna go for a super. Dude, you smoking. James Harden dude, you smoking crack. You talk about he scored 28 a game. Nigga, James Harden was literally MVP. He's leading the league in assists now, either 1 or 2 in scoring the last 5-6 years. Nigga, they traded him for who? Karis LeVert?
No, he didn't stay with them. They Oladipo and kids get for him.
Exactly.
A bunch of picks that's not gonna matter.
How you give up a bunch of young talent? No, we gave up a bunch of young players, not talent. And we gave them 1 top 5 pick. Yep. That turned out to be who? Who he turned out? Who did that top 5 pick turn out to be? Can you name him?
Oh yeah, I don't remember that. Don't he play for Atlanta now or something?
First of all, I don't drink, you bitch ass nigga. And secondly, I'm gonna ask you again. We traded him for a top 5 pick. Who was he? Can you name him? Lonzo Ball about to get traded. Only thing that they got was Brandon Ingram for Anthony Davis.
Who got better.
Right.
And even with what Brandon Ingram is now, you do that trade 10 out of 10 times, man.
Right.
I don't even know why Brandon Ingram in his feelings, bro. Like, yo, when you get older, man, it's nothing against young players. Are they not ready?
Yeah, you just ain't ready. Fuck you, man.
Is great.
We traded Anthony. We traded basically. We got Anthony Davis for Brandon Ingram and a bunch of role players. And Brandon Ingram wasn't even the Brandon Ingram you see now.
Yeah.
So if we trade Kyle Kuzma for Zach LaVine, that's possible.
Yeah.
You talk about a draft pick. All we gotta do is send one player somewhere else and get a draft pick. You could send somebody stupid like THT or Thanasis Antetokounmpo. You never know. You could pay cash for a second round in this draft and trade that with another player for. Dude, draft picks. Come on. They about to be overrated in a second anyway, because Danny Ainge saved up all the draft picks and they got him how many titles?
That's another element. I don't know why people be so hell bent on keeping dudes that don't matter. Remember we were saying, bro, when with Brooklyn came to James Harden, even though like we didn't think it'd be a perfect fit, there'd be issue on defense. What did we say, bro? If you can get James Harden, make that move for him, bro. That's James Harden. Certain players, bro, like if you can make the move, you just make it. You don't like sit down and get caught up that you're losing some average ass role player. Right. You end up looking like Miami now. We didn't get James Harden because we're trying to keep Tyler Hero and God, I'm so mad about that shit.
Hey, Leonard Smith, you talk about that ain't getting Zach. So you thought that Karis LeVert and fucking getting rid of Jared Allen would have got them James Harden? That's what you thought?
And they got to keep Joe Harris. too.
Yeah. You thought that?
And to get an Oladipo who don't even want to stay there? Come on, bro.
Right.
Come on, y'all.
I just be wondering what
the Rockets really get for James Harden?
Right.
The Rockets really get besides a bunch of bad draft picks.
Right.
Bro, like, even like Drew Holiday, who Drew Holiday went for a lot this season. It was just a bunch of bogus draft picks and what else?
Right.
What else the Pelicans got for Drew Holiday? Oh, and Eric Bledsoe. Some contract that they did.
Right.
So some
some of the draft picks were sent because of Eric Bledsoe's whack contract.
Come on, man. It's a lot of crazy. All the motherfucker got to say is, I don't want to be there. All he got to say, I don't want to be there. He could end up anywhere. Don't do that, man.
I'm out of here, bro. We'll talk, though.
Bet, bro. I was the main one telling y'all, it ain't no motherfucker way that we gonna get goddamn no Anthony Davis. I don't care what nobody say. We not getting no Anthony damn Davis for no punk ass Lonzo and all of that. And we got it. We got it. And Kuzma stayed because that's who we wanted to keep. Because we thought he was going to be better. Right. Niggas say all that nigga. Right. All Zach got to say is, I don't want to be there. I don't want to be here. What James Harden say? I don't want to be here. So if I told you last year, playoff time, that same nigga that y'all timed out. Nigga, if I told you last year during playoff time, James Harden gonna be with the Nets with Kyrie and KD for Caris LeVert and Jared Allen, you would be like, hell nah. Leonard, you would have too. You would be like, fuck nah, that ain't no good trade. Caris LeVert okay, but he ain't worth no James Harden. And then I tell you, oh no, they ain't gonna end up with him. They're gonna go different spots. They're gonna end up with Victor Oladipo and like a draft pick. Y'all gonna be like, what? Huh? My thing is this. Y'all talking about draft picks to a team who's going to be high in the draft. Y'all gotta stop keep talking about the draft picks. This is a team that's forever in the draft. Leonard, again, you're screaming about draft picks about a team that's forever in the draft. OKC is making moves because they've been doing good in the draft. If I'm Chicago, I ain't been doing good in the draft anyway. That's not the truth. Which means more picks, the better. So name the team with the most picks that won the championship. Go. Because what you just said has to be right. What team did that and won a championship recently? Any day now, I got all day. More picks, the better is not the truth. It's when you get a draft pick, and if the draft is good, you can have 1 million draft picks in a shitty draft and draft a bunch of Bama's. That, again, Leonard Smith, let me tell you, is that the truth? How many picks? How many picks? Why do y'all do this to yourself? How many picks did Philly have? They had 1 trillion of them. No, they just assets that you could trade dumb teams with. Smart teams don't trade for fucking assets. They trade for players that they actually have now. And if I trade you a future draft pick, if you draft it now, like I said, we got a 2027. We'll give them that. You can have that shit. Why? Because that shit is not how you win. Only they're not winning now because of the process. They only kept 2 out of the 12 players that they drafted. So the process never really worked. The reason they're winning now is because they added many players who were not drafted by them, but who in fact were free agents and players from other teams, like a Tobias Harris, who is a solid number 3, and you're adding a Seth Curry. So your point is invalid when you only have 2 people from that so-called process that has them winning now. So again, it's not about more draft picks, but essentially who and when you draft. They traded the players. Why? No, they did. Actually, they never traded any of the picks. They drafted a lot of them. They traded the players. Why? Because again, it's not how many picks you had. It's who and when you draft. They drafted motherfucking they drafted the first one was the rookie of the year out of Syracuse, Lil Reds. And they got rid of him. They got nowhere. And they traded all the motherfuckers because they wasn't good. Just stop it. They traded Markelle Fultz. He a better shooter than Ben Simmons. Traded Jahlil Okafor. Traded it. They drafted mostly all of them and then traded them. The more picks, the better is bullshit. In the end, they ended up getting a coach who relies on bringing in free agents. Leonard, if you type that shit one more time, I'm timing you out. Answer my question. Which one of those teams did that really work for? None of them. Because while they was doing that, none of them won. So that's not the truth. None of them won. While that was happening, while they was doing all this drafting and keep going back to the lottery, Leonard, Leonard, and they traded Dario Saric way before they traded for Curry. They traded a lot of players, and they didn't trade a player that played for them to get Curry. They traded a player that they imported. A lot of you niggas don't get attention at home and just like to talk and be contrarian to say what you say when the facts are right in your face. All of that draft shit really don't mean nothing. The people who win championships do not do all of that draft pick stocking. How the fuck did Golden State get James Wiseman because they was draft pick stocking or just because they lost? Did the Lakers get Brandon Ingram so that they could trade him because they was stocking draft picks or just because they was losing? How we get D'Lo? Was it stocking picks? No. That's really not how you win. Once in a lifetime, you draft a player that's generational that carries you to the championship. The league is shown, though, that like 7 times out of 10, he never stays on that team. Sometimes he'll go somewhere else. Like a Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen. But then they had to join a Paul Pierce, who would have never won a championship if that didn't happen. And they was drafting first every year. They was full of draft picks. Chauncey Billups, Antoine Walker, Paul Pierce, Walter McCarty, Ron Mercer. They were full of draft picks every year. Leonard, show me the blueprint of the team that wins championships doing that. Go. I'll make it easier. Show me the last team that went to the championship that did that. Show me the last team that went to a championship that did that. Stockpiling draft picks. OKC didn't stockpile draft picks. They sucked every year. They ain't had to stockpile them. They was just sorry. So Leonard, your argument, and you going back and forth with me. I'm only frustrated because you have nothing that can point to your argument. Nothing. That's why trading for Zach LaVine is possible. That's why it's not impossible. Because when you really look at the landscape of the NBA, it's about when you sorry. For real. It's about when you sorry. It's been like 2 teams that had another person draft pick. See, it ain't no call in. He just know my number. You got to know me personally and know my number. He just happened to be calling me, talking to me about something else, and I put him on speaker. These are just personal people I know. No, it's not about hope. It's about me saying that the dumb shit you saying ain't actually going on in the NBA. Because again, what is it with this nigga and this quitting shit? Motherfuckers just can't have a bad night. What is it with them quitting? Motherfucker was injured most of the year last year. It was a pointless game after a certain point. They sat him down. Shit, sometimes it ain't your night. Shit. Ron Todd Tizzy, right. Nigga try and make all this dumbass arguments about who the Pelicans had all these draft picks. They can't name who got drafted, what happened with the pick, or none of that. Matter of fact, only thing they know, the Pelicans got number 1 that year, and they got Zion. He was praying for it to happen, but it didn't. Boogie going to the Clippers didn't even make sense. You got Ibaka and you got Zubac. Who the fuck you benching? T-Town, thank you. I remember 2 picks that they had New Orleans made. Jackson Hayes was the second pick. Oh, and they got Shea Gilgeous-Alexander later on. Because they ended up trading the Laker pick for somebody else, for 2 other picks that were later in the draft. I just want brothers to be realistic. That shit that y'all say about the league, oh, they stocked up a bunch of picks. If you pick, you will do great. Let's name the teams that had the number 1 pick over the last 20 years. I'm going to name the last 20 years. Number 1 pick. Okay. And we're going to see. 2000. Fuck this, because you ain't going to just sit here and lie to me. NBA trash. You're not gonna just fucking lie to me. Lie to LaVar Smith. The hell wrong? New Jersey drafted Kenyon Martin, number 1 in 2000. He ended up going to the championship, y'all. New Jersey drafted Kenyon Martin, number 1 that year. He ended up going to the championship. Why did he end up going to the championship? Was it because they drafted and stock draft picks? No, it's because they had Jason Kidd. And the year before that, they were sorry. So they had the number 1 pick, Jason Kidd. Then they got Curry Kittles in the next draft because they were sorry. They got the Gay Collins twins and had them and went to the championship with Aaron Williams, Richard Jefferson, a late draft pick. Was not about stocking picks. The next team that was number 2 was Vancouver. They got Stromile Swift. You know how that turned out. Third team was the Clippers. They always had draft picks. Look how it helped them. Fourth team was Chicago, Marcus Fizer, Obi Toppin. Fifth pick was Mike Miller, Orlando. Okay, so the top 5 team. Only 2 guys won championships. One of them not on the team he was on. 2 of them, one guy won a championship, not on the team he was drafted by. The other guy went to a championship on the team he was drafted by, but only because they drafted a free agent. Only because, like I told your ass for the 900th time, 2001 draft. Shout out to Michael Jordan getting Kwame Brown. Because the more picks, the better. The Clippers are number 2 again. This year, the Clippers was number 2. It was number 3 the year before. They got Tyson Chandler. The Nets was number 7. They got Eddie Griffin. Didn't even keep him. Memphis was Vancouver. They got Shane Battier. Chicago was number 4 again this year. They didn't get Marcus Fizer. They got Eddie Curry. Then Tyson Chandler ended up on the team with Eddie Curry because the more draft picks, the better. And Tyson Chandler went on to win the championship, and Eddie Curry did too. Rest in peace, Eddie Griffin. Eddie Curry won a championship wearing a suit with LeBron. And Tyson Chandler won a championship with dirt. The more drafts, the better. A team full of literally. And that Dallas team that won, name me the goddamn draft pick on the Dallas team that beat LeBron and them. Name me the draft pick. God damn it. Change your last name, Leonard. You're making the Smiths look bad today. I'm just fucking with you, Leonard. But I'm still going to go through this shit just to prove. Houston drafted number 1 in 2002, and they drafted a big Yao Ming. And he had a great Hall of Fame short career with it. He had one. Chicago drafted number 2 this year. They got Jay Williams, and we see how that turned out. Golden State drafted high again that year. They got Mike Dunleavy. He wasn't on none of their championship teams. Memphis was Vancouver. This the 3rd year they in the top 5 in a row. They got Drew Gooden, and he didn't stay there long. Denver DeJuan Wagner for Cleveland, and then they from New York. Look, Clippers had Wilcox that year. Okay. Now, 2003 was different. Because number one was LeBron, Ramon, Clyde Anthony, Cleophas James, the third part junior. The second pick was Darko to a championship team. They never went back. Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade. Well, what's weird about LeBron, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade is they literally had to play the fucking together to get a ring. And this was a great draft pick. Clippers got Chris Kaman. This was a great draft class. Chicago had Kurt Heinrich. TJ Ford went to Milwaukee. Mike Sweetney, Georgetown, New York. Jarvis Hayes, the Wizards. Mikael Pietrus. Come on, bruh. All this draft pick stocking. That's not what did it. Dude, you know what winning. And that year they did not win the championship. 2004 draft. Orlando got Dwight Coward. And they went to a championship by adding free agent Rashard Lewis, who made the second most amount of money of anybody while he was playing. Even next to Kobe Bryant. Rashard Lewis, Mikael Pietrus, he was on that team. Hedo Turkoglu, he was on that team. JJ Redick was drafted to that team. My point to my brother is this. We can go all day from 2000. You can't name one team that did what you talking about. You can't name one team. As a matter of fact, I can honestly say Kyle Kuzma, if we traded him, might have a better chance of winning a championship somewhere else. Just looking at this, because like a Mike Miller or somebody like that. Right, LaMelo Ball. But LaMelo Ball got a better game than him. LaMelo Ball has a better game than him. I'm going to go out or go ahead and say, I know. What? You said what? Yes, LaMelo has a better game than him. Y'all know he do. A more complete game. I've been impressed with him lately. He is better than Lonzo. LeVar was right. He better than Lonzo. He much better than Lonzo. Yeah, he much better than Lonzo. They not going to trade Short. Short they not getting traded. But yeah. But the Lakers do need to figure out a way to get Kyle Kuzma moved to get something good. We could do it. I think it's possible. I know. Niggas, y'all can do it. Nigga. What Kevin Garnett say? What Kevin Garnett say? Hey, y'all, what Kevin Garnett used to say? What Kevin Garnett say at the end of the championship? Anything's possible. especially in the NBA. Nigga, we got Paul Gasol for a draft of Mark Gasol. Nah, what's the situation with KD? What KD do? LaMelo a top 10 point guard already? Really? In no particular order, what? Steph, Dame, Kyrie, Chris Paul, Ja Morant. Ja Morant. I said Dame, didn't I? Was it Ja Morant? Because I don't want to name Trae Young. Luka Doncic. Because I don't want to name motherfuckers. Yeah, I'm about to say. Nah, I feel like I can name. I feel like I can name with pretty much certainty. Oh, KD arguing with the hoes. Nah, I ain't talking. Let that man leave. I don't do with that. He said, hey, bitch, it's only one K. Yeah, LaMelo might be top 15. Thank you. Wall, Kimber, De'Aaron Fox, Westbrook. Thank you. Fred VanVleet. Thank you, y'all. Thank you, y'all. Up, y'all. You a damn fool. No, they shouldn't. They're doing just fine. What the fuck is a bust about James Wiseman? What's a bust about James Wiseman? Are you smoking? Are you smoking? You smoking that motherfucker dilly pack? Up, y'all, don't do that. You crazy. JR, no, yeah, said he need to know that. Don't say no, y'all. He said that dumb shit. Say you do know. Nah, say this to him. You do know that boy 19 played exactly like 4 games of college, came in, got the COVID. Young, and he still looked like a young David Robinson. Ain't had no formal training camp or no training. Still averaging double-digit points, getting you a couple of blocks off the bench, playing great when they put him in. They ain't figured out how to use him yet. That don't make him a bust. They ain't figured out how to use him yet. I done seen too many games where I said, see, that's why I call him David Robinson Jr. Because that's who he gonna be. That little left-handed bastard is a monster. I don't know what you've been watching. What games have you been watching? He looked like, and I'm partial to him because he looked like motherfucker Chadwick Boseman in the face. He looked like a tall ass Chadwick Boseman. So I'm partial to the young boy. Be careful, and y'all be careful about calling motherfucker a bust. He's played 26 games. Nigga, you the nigga. Let me find out up y'all the little boys league coach, right? With a 6-year-old dropped the ball. He saw it. He'll never be good. Up y'all, that's you. Right, because they ain't figured out how to use him, Leonard. They ain't figured out how to use him yet, and he know it. Just think. Exactly, and we can see the talent. But experience has a lot to do with not being on the floor. Forget the fact that college was cut short because of COVID. His college was cut short because of court. So he wasn't even playing college. LaMelo was overseas playing basketball. Might have to be there. We a team that make enough that could foot that big. We'll figure it out. I ain't worried about it. I still ain't seen him, Lewis. This is what I need to understand. Somebody help me understand. Come on up, y'all. What are you talking about? Age has nothing to do with talent. The man ain't. I ain't watching them shit. I didn't even watch them play last night. I forgot what I was doing. I didn't even know the Lakers played, to be honest. I didn't even know they played yesterday. I was doing other shit. It was Sunday, nigga. I had dinner. My son was in here fucking up. Shit. By the time they figure it out, Steph will be 36. What, Steph 35 right now or something? No, they'll figure it out by next year. It'll be an all-star break. They'll figure out how to use them a little bit more and incorporate them a little bit more. And they'll figure out how to use them on the offensive end, where they stop throwing all these fucking threes up all the time. They'll stop missing him in the post and getting him the ball. And, you know, with more experience, I don't care. Look, the next nigga that tell me that another NBA player thinks something like you talk to him, I'm timing your dumb ass. You didn't talk to Draymond Green. He called you and told you that, or is this your speculation? Did he call you and tell you that, or this your speculation? I highly doubt he said that out in public about a new teammate. I highly doubt he said that about a rookie. He was sitting there trying to groom himself, and he's sitting there. I highly doubt he did that. Yeah, and what you called, he called you nigga. That's what he told you. Or this your motherfucking conjecture. This your conjecture. Now, again, it was niggas trying to tell me how what's it called. Do you know what Charlotte's record is? Up y'all. Up y'all. Say some dumb shit like that again. I'm timing you out. Okay? And you know why. Do you know what Charlotte record is? But do you know because they play in the Eastern Conference, it looks better. Golden State would be... If you literally set Golden State in the East right now, they probably be like number 5. Right, the Knicks in 4th. They one game over 500. Right. The Knicks one game over 500. They are 4th. Yeah, it could be. Or it could be a turnover waiting to happen. Or it could be a turnover waiting to happen. Or it could be a conflict of interest. Or it could be the ball out of Steph's hands and a lot more gunning by him. And then that shit throws him and Steph chemistry off. The people know who they got. They know what they needed. They needed some presence inside. They had no presence inside. They need some real presence, some real speed, and some athleticism. When Clay come back, I'll see. Nah, I get it, Knicks fans, they do, man. They in the playoff. I will never do that to a playoff team. They playing good. They playing hard. Better than we expected. And it's good for basketball that the New York teams are finally both good. Brooklyn been in the playoffs for the last few years. The Knicks been some shit than most of our adult life. Like after Patrick Ewing, it's just been nothing to celebrate. Nothing. So I'm happy for the Knicks. They had them few Carmelo years, but they were so brief, you forget about them. Matter of fact, Carmelo had more years in Denver than he had in New York. Let's be honest. Carmelo had more prime contendership years playing in Denver against Shaq and Kobe than he did in New York. No, it wouldn't be, because it wouldn't happen till next year. So, and then I'm gonna tell you why that wouldn't be scary as fuck. Cause who checking somebody? Yo, you realize you have to play some defense, right? What do niggas think this is? Do y'all really? LaMelo's thing, you don't never have to. So I'm gonna ask you before I time you out. Who gonna play defense? Who's gonna stop anybody at the rim? Up, y'all. You know, 5 people at a time got to play. 2 people can't be known for defense when the other 3. That's literally not gonna work. And worse than that, who stops who at the? So when you playing Anthony Davis, you putting LaMelo on him, Draymond, Wiggins. You still got LeBron. Trez would score 90 on that lineup. Right. Look at Burt. Look at Burt. Look, niggas was thinking about L might be lunching. No, L's not lunching. Who stops who at the rim? I score 40 on that defense. Oh, are they? So when you play Houston and Christian Wood gives you 45, how unique is that, up, y'all? Oh, are they? So when you go play Denver and you surrender 99 to Jokic, oh, are they? So then when you go down there to Phoenix and they pick and roll to death you with DeAndre Ayton, oh, are they? Thank you, JR. Oh, are they? They're unique, huh? Right. Or you go down to Memphis and Valanciunas and them young boys that they got that was jumping all around the motherfucking gym is dunking on your ass and they ain't even get Jaren Jackson back. No, they're not different. They're not unique. They're the Lakers. They're the best team. Then you go and play Dame Lillard with a bunch of little niggas trying to run around. You try to play speedball with Dame and CJ. You try to play speedball with Luka and KP. They're not. They did the right thing. I kept telling y'all all year that that's what they needed. They just didn't. You got to be objective about this shit. They ain't had a training camp. That's why I said next year is when I think the Nets really gonna be a problem. When you really get the jail together, certain COVID restrictions gonna loosen up. Up, y'all. Stop being the contrarian nigga. No, he's not little, but is he bigger than any player I named? Is he a rim protector? You know, I know the answer's no. So stop it. Yeah, he's 6'8". He ain't even bigger than Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma is still bigger than his age. Remember that. Kyle Kuzma is still bigger than LaMelo Ball. Michael Porter Jr. still bigger than LaMelo Ball. Paul Millsap still bigger. Look, the same niggas bigger than LaMelo Ball, Draymond, Wiggins, Clay. You didn't see? They ain't figured out how to look. You act like Shorty averaging 9 points. Shorty averaging more than Kyle Kuzma. Right. Nah, man. LaMelo on the right team. They got a whole bunch of big men that's bums that's back there ready to get fouls if you get past them. They got a bunch of little short guards running around. They need a nigga his size. They need him. He right where the fuck he need to be. He in the best place possible. Honestly, Charlotte was the best place for he could have got drafted by the other team. Minnesota, he'd have been out there doing too much bricking. For real. He'd been doing, look, he'd have been bricking early and losing. Because y'all talking about LaMelo Ball when the real story is Terry Rozier. Y'all talking about LaMelo Ball when the real story is Gordon Hayward. That's the real story. LaMelo is very good, and he doing what he supposed to do to be drafted there. But the real story is those dudes. That's why they in playoff contention. Because quietly, Rozier has Kemba Walker's scoring output. And quietly, Gordon Hayward has gave him a consistent offensive threat to give them 20. Now, them two 20-point scorers, and then LaMelo out there doing what he do, yeah. Look at Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards with a whole bunch of bullshit, and now he finally getting the shine. LaMelo would have been frustrated and been losing in Minnesota, and it might not have been good. I think he in the best situation. I think Anthony Edwards got the mentality. I see he's still having fun even though he losing. I think this the best situation. Michael Jordan, a big person that owned the team. LeVar Ball really can't question him without getting looked at, just like how Magic was when Lonzo was there. He can't really question Magic. He could question everybody else, he can't question Magic. Well, now he can't question Jordan. Then they winning, and they going to the playoff, and they letting them play. So LeVar, he a non-factor. If Melo was in Minnesota and Edwards was in Charlotte, bruh, the records would still be the same. Edwards would probably average more points than LaMelo, because Edwards a better scorer. But Melo will have more points than the average. Now, Melo will probably average like 17, 7, and 6. And then you'll start hearing grumblings about him and the coach. You'll start hearing LeVar talk about they just fired the coach already. You'll hear about LeVar talk about the coach too young, don't know what he doing, and that was already Flip Saunders' son. Then they would have fired him. Then it would have been a whole bunch of controversy. They already would have been losing. Then you got Karl Anthony Towns. He would have called him Saul. This is the best situation. He would have probably said something about Karl. Well, all MMA fighters talk trash about LeBron. But yeah, we've been talked about him. Now this is the soccer play. Yeah, all MMA fighters are white supremacists. Every last one of them. Not one good one in MMA. As Coach Shelton Harris. It's like almost anything, but yeah, all the white guys in MMA are white supremacists. Everybody knows that. Just like the NFL, most of the white guys in the NFL. Most white guys in the NFL, they racist as hell. They don't even like black cats. Yeah, name me one that's not. Most of them MMA fighters have deep anti-black racism. Then the first thing they do, get in the ring with a nigga and get knocked out. That's why that nigga Tyron Woodley started getting knocked out, because he was cool with letting Mike Perry call him a nigga. That's the only reason Kobe Covington beat him. God wouldn't have let him lose to that white supremacist if he wasn't running around letting motherfucker Mike Perry say shit like that. Y'all heard about the UCLA triathlete, track and field athlete that was sitting there talk about the white girl dumped him. She just gonna mess with a big old nigger, a stupid dumb nigger. That's what he said. Yeah. He got mad. He got mad. It was bad shit. God damn it, you're gonna leave me for a big old nigger, aren't you? He was hating like shit. You know, I know they blocked it out. Look, now Steph Curry exposes why nigga gotta always use these sensationalized words. He exposed it. Ooh, he exposed. It's exposed. Ooh. You exposed. Sensationalized shit. They expose shit. Nigga just said something.
Your wireless, your rules, your savings. When you get Xfinity Mobile,
exposed,
you can save up to $300 a year. So join the most reliable wireless network and get nationwide 5G included at no extra cost.
Nigga using that word uncovers. Revealed.
All right, y'all, let's talk about a UCLA student who was on the school's cross-country and track and field teams. Yep, it's this guy, Chris Weiland. In a video on the Instagram account, UCLA_is_racist. Weiland, a senior, uses the N-word multiple times. This
damn robocall.
And talks to a woman on the other line about his ex-girlfriend. He admits to cheating on her multiple times, then she cheats on him, thus the foul language ensues. With Black Lives Matter marches and protests taking place all throughout the country this past summer, many had a reckoning. They finally listened to the trials and tribulations minorities face on a daily basis. UCLA even put out an edited video on why, at their school in Westwood, California, the Bruins believe in an anti-racist society and that Black Lives Matter. Kaya McCullough, ex-soccer star at UCLA, now with the Wurzburger kickers in Germany, started kneeling with their teammates. The school's coach was more than comfortable with the players expressing themselves. UCLA's website even says they support Black Lives Matter. Again, their official .edu site, which takes us back to good old Chris Weiland, doesn't it?
Well, I know what her backup her thing is going to be that you've cheated on her before.
Yeah, that's not a good excuse. What, so we can get even? Here's the evidence of Weiland admitting to cheating on his girlfriend multiple times.
When she says she doesn't, want to get back together, why do you think? It's because she wants to be with this who has no future. She's going to be with a stupid who's going to be in community college all his life.
Don't talk like that.
And as you can hear, Weiland is not afraid to use slurs in his vocabulary. Rather, it rolls off the tongue. Text messages have also surfaced from Weiland. He subjects the other person in this convo to degrading language, including the use of the N-word not once but twice. What I personally see is racism mixed with toxic masculinity. But of course, there's more. Weiland, in another set of text messages, calls the woman more degrading language and uses the N-word not once, not twice, not 3, but 4 times, along with another anti-gay slur. In one text, he says, Darius is clearly not in blank. Blanks don't have goals. They're bums. Major difference. And yet there's more evidence of Chris Weiland's bigotry. It's almost insurmountable. A broken-ass stupid blank. Really? Wrote Weiland in yet another uncovered text messages. The Los Angeles Times confirmed these all came from Chris Weiland, who spent 2 seasons at Mount San Antonio College and another at Cal State San Marcos before transferring to UCLA.
Where does that kid live?
I don't know, probably the ghetto.
The alleged incidents occurred prior to Weiland enrolling at UCLA in the fall of 2019, according to a person close to the situation. Lauren Carter, a softball player at the school, wrote on the gram, "You did a good thing by posting this to the UCLA is racist Instagram page." This morning, we do have breaking news. Weiland, the cross-country and track and field athlete at UCLA, was dismissed by the school. The director of track and field and cross-country, Avery Anderson, announced in a statement on the team's Twitter, "When learning of this a few months ago, I was disgusted and immediately suspended him indefinitely from the team. Even in my disgust as a coach, my intentions are always to lead and educate and make the change happen that I want to see in this world," Anderson said. "I can talk about changing the world, or I can put in the work to do so. And that is what I have done over the last few months with this individual. In January, I decided to reinstate him to the team. However, after team members and the athletic community expressed concern, it became clear that his continued involvement with the team is incompatible with the culture of mutual support and respect we're fostering. I now realize that the decision to reinstate..."
Basically, his coon-ass track coach heard about it, suspended him, told him don't worry about it, and reinstated it. But when campus got word of it and other athletes did, they got mad. They let him participate in the event. And after the event, he suspended him. That's what happened. That's what happened. That's what happened. I think people probably like, I ain't running. And I might beat this racist motherfucker up at the end of this race. Did y'all see that shit? Young, did y'all know Wilt Chamberlain played in high school and semi-pro at the same time under the name George Marcus, averaging 55 a game? And Wilt would never admit to it. It's a big ass picture of Wilt and the other niggas on the team, semi-pro team. No bullshit. Wilt was 16 years old in high school, playing on a semi-pro team and high school at the same time. Do y'all know Wilt Chamberlain ran a 10-9 100-meter yard dash? Yo, imagine that big motherfucker running that fast. Wilt Chamberlain ran a 10-9 100-yard dash. I watched that shit the other day on YouTube. I lost my mind. I said, yeah, I should do a video right now and tell niggas, I can't believe this shit. That's that. Wilt ran a 10-9. Can you imagine that big motherfucker coming at you that fast? His 40 probably full something. His 40 probably full. It might be full flat. He might be slowing down. You never know. Young, they said that nigga ran a 10-9. They showed that nigga running hurdles. That nigga was, is that Wilt Chamberlain? That nigga probably look like a fast giraffe.
Verizon believes everyone deserves the best. That's why we start with 5G from America's most reliable network.
Verizon 5G is next level.
And offer the best in entertainment like Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus with a Galaxy S21 Plus 5G when you buy one. Only from Verizon.
Wilt Chamberlain is often considered the most dominant player in NBA history. He scored 100 in a game, averaged 50 in a season, and bedded 20,000 women. Those are some of the most known numbers, which just scratch the surface about the player and a man that Wilt was. Here are 10 lesser-known facts about the Big Dipper. Wilt skipped his senior season to join the Globetrotters. In the 1950s, all until 1971, you couldn't join the NBA if you haven't spent 4 years in college or the graduation of your class. There were no one-and-dones, and the youngest NBA players were 22 years old. In his first NCAA season, Wilt averaged 30 points and 19 rebounds and took his Kansas Jayhawks to the NCAA Finals, where they played against the undefeated North Carolina. In one of the most thrilling games ever, North Carolina won the title after 3 overtimes with a score of 54-53. Wilt was guarded by 3 players at all times, and there was no 24-second shot clock at the time. North Carolina tried to prolong every possession just to keep the ball out of Wilt's hands. He still finished with 23 points and 14 rebounds and was named the best player of the tournament. Years later, he admitted it was the most painful defeat of his career. He left the university because he disliked the way college basketball was played, and because the only way they could stop him was not to shoot at the basket. Since he couldn't play in the NBA yet, Wilt took his talents to the Harlem Globetrotters, which enabled him to travel the country and improve his ball handling skills. A track and field champion in college, we often say that some athletes were far ahead of their time.
Wilt looked like he took a DeLorean from Back to the Future and landed in the 1960s from the 23rd century. At that time, there was no athlete as talented as the Big Dipper. He received more than 200 college scholarships, but he ultimately chose Kansas because they allowed him to run track. Track and field was his first and greatest sports love, and he preferred it even over basketball. At 7'1", he ran 100 meters in 10.9 seconds, which is mesmerizing. He also excelled at shot put, long jump, and triple jump, and he had won Big 8 track and field championships for 3 years in a row. Wilt didn't sleep the night before he scored 100. Very little is known about the best scoring game in NBA history. The game was not televised, and there was not a single highlight that would put Wilt's dominance in context. If it weren't for reporter Harvey Pollack, who was insightful enough to photograph him in a piece of paper with a 100 written on it, maybe there would even be conspiracy theories that it didn't happen at all. What made the feat even more spectacular is the fact Wilt didn't even sleep the night before his 100-point game. Wilt had spent the night in New York City with a lady, and then drove to Pennsylvania to play. He did what he did best, scored, and then scored some more. Just another day at the office. I played a few pinball games, had a few drinks, made love all night with one beautiful girl, and then got on the Philadelphia train early in the morning.
Jabari.
He played semi-pro basketball under a fake name in high school. Wilt played for Overbrook High School, and the school had a 58-3 ratio in 3 years with Wilt. He averaged 36.9 points for Overbrook, and was the most scouted player in basketball at the time. Wilt was so dominant that he soon became wanted in the minor pro leagues around the country. However, if he played for any of them, he would lose his college eligibility, and his NBA dreams would likely be squashed as well. In order to make some money and to further advance his skills, Wilt decided to play for a semi-professional team, Quakertown FaZe, at the age of 16. Pennsylvania Athletic Association didn't have jurisdiction over the city schools at the time, so Wilt could play pro, but he had to change his name so it wouldn't come up as a former professional when he'd go to college.
Play Animal Crossing videos with your screen off. Try YouTube Premium on us and explore uninterrupted.
Get fee-free overdraft up to $100 with SpotMe. Install the Chime app today and get started.
Did y'all hear that about Wilt? Wilt said, I needed some Skrilla, man. Wilt said, I need this paper, nigga. They said, Wilt, don't you want to do this for a good cause? Wilt said, yeah, cause I want to have this guap, nigga. Wilt was a pro at 16. Cooking men. I want y'all to see that picture. I don't know what the fuck just happened. Bradley. Now YouTube fuck with. Now YouTube fuck with. It don't matter. But yeah, y'all saw it. The nigga Wilt ran a 10-9. What? Yeah, I'm about to get out of here too, man. Much love to y'all, family. Thank y'all for tuning in and kicking it with a brother. Let me get some shit together. Get some dinner together and some shit, you know what I'm saying? Get some vittles up in me. Vittles. Eat me some vittles. Like I'm in motherfucking Beverly Hillbillies. Anyway, shouts out to all of y'all, man. Let me go get something to eat. LVZ. We expose.